weekday edition, Outlaw Radio, White Noise on a Wednesday night. Welcome to the show. My name is Kevin Barnes. I am the mayor of Chocolate City, the militant with a mouthpiece, uh, aka the Negro Whisperer, man. And I keep saying I'm an information slanger. So this is Outlaw Radio. Tune in, share, hit like, follow, do whatever you got to do. Go to the YouTube page, share the show, share the show, share the show. And we're gonna have a great conversation tonight. I'm not alone. I got my co-host here with me. How you doing, my brother? How you doing tonight?
I am great tonight. How y'all doing? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the coach and teacher, hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. Hey, mama, there go the sea mouse, man! Right now in the House of Vitality, I got something for you.
Yes, I got bells and whistles falling apart all over my studio. Welcome to the show, man. I'm glad to be able to bring you another edition because a lot of times on Mondays we just kind of run things down and catch up. It's almost like, you ain't seen the homie in a long time. You see him, you chopping it up. What's going on, man? How you doing? But then on Wednesday, it's a lot more topical. And a lot of times what happens on Monday is I get motivated to do something else based on what we talked about. And so we're going to talk about white noise tonight simply because we had a conversation about white people and black people and where we are in this country. We talked about, are you oppressed, right? Do you feel oppressed? What is oppression? How does racism in this country directly affect you? What areas does it really touch in your life? We're going to have that conversation tonight. The number is 262-202-5131. Outlaw Radio, Ewok the Great in the chat room. I see you, my brother. I said I'm here, fellas. Welcome to the show. Fletch, I see you, my sponsor, Fletch from EPU Personal Self-Defense, EPUSDS.com. That is EPU Personal Defense, EPUSDS.com. I'm going to bring Fletch back again. I thought we had a great conversation about what the EPU system is and all this kind of stuff. So I'm definitely going to bring him back. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to the homie Juan Mac Jones, man. Juan Mac Jones had me grooving all weekend on the blues, man. I thought I was back in J&J's, Kamar. You couldn't tell me I wasn't on Atkinson. A lot going on in the city, man. How's your week been so far, my brother? How your week been?
Man, my week has been good, man. It's been good. I just saw a clip where I'm on Fox 6 News commercial.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a clip of me. I'm at the Sherman Phoenix passing out samples. I'm out there doing what I do. You know what I mean? Like, I got this store, man, and I still do samples. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a big part of what I do.
That's right, man. But you've been, like I said, people maybe they think I'm exaggerating. You've been 98.3 V1. You've been on V100, right? With what's the name? Reggie Brown.
Marshall. Yeah.
Right. You've been on WNOV. You've been on The Truth. Been with So
90.
Fox 6, Channel 58. Right. I mean, you've been all over the place, man.
You getting out of here, man. You getting out of here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't fuck around with suckers, man.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know. We all
John got something in the works too.
Okay. Y'all got okay. That's what's up.
Yeah, we got something in the works too.
Let me know what's happening. Let me know if I can push or pull. Right, one of the two.
Man, you already know it. You probably gonna be involved in it somehow.
Right. If I can help in any way, I'm there. Listen,
I just don't want to talk too much right now. You know what I mean?
No, don't give it away. We're gonna hold on to that. Mm-hmm. We're on Mondays and Wednesdays, y'all. 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
When it's ready to be given.
Yeah. Let it mature.
When it's ready to be given.
Marinated. Y'all can catch us on Mondays and Wednesdays, but if you missed the show, you can always go. All the shows are archived. We do have a YouTube page, the People's Network with a Z. I have our sister Facebook group, the People's News Network, which you can also tune in. Like it's premium black news, and that's what this is, right? Like, so if you tune in for the turn up, you'll get that eventually. If you tune in for the silly shit, you'll get that
Right, it's
eventually.
coming.
Right, it's coming.
It's coming. Just hold
But
on.
then sometimes the conversation is very pointed and topical, like tonight, because I really want, like, this is one of those conversations I'm excited to have with people. So I really want people to share the show, because this is an election year, and I think there's some critical questions that we have to talk about. I mean, that we have to ask and then talk about the answers in terms of where we are in this country and where we going. We ain't gonna worry about what happened in the past. We got to talk about where we're going. One of the things that I always do as a life coach is I tell my clients, we're not worried about the past. That I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not worried about the past. I want to talk about where you want to go right now, and what is it? What does the future look like? And so I want to do that with Black people, in particular, discussing a word that we used on the show the other night. And we were talking about whether or not we as people of color, we as Black people in Milwaukee, are oppressed. I said I didn't feel like I was oppressed, right? You said you didn't feel like you were oppressed.
Right. That's the answer right. That's the answer right there. If you feel like you are, you are.
Okay, but just for shits and giggles,
Right.
I wanted to look at the actual definition of the word oppression. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to be the first kind of where we start off at. But I got something else too about Black Greek organizations, the Divine Nine.
Uh-oh.
I put a post in the People's News Network about a young lady who has disavowed herself from a Greek organization. I've heard people talk a lot about what that actually represents, right? And we did a lot of discussions about the Black Boule, right, on this show. And we talked about their Greek origins. And when a lot of people, just to go back historically, talking about W.E.B. Du Bois, and who was one of my heroes in terms of academics historically, but then I found out that he was with this whole movement to keep Black academics, Black intellectuals away from Marcus Garvey. And so they come up with this thing called the Talented 10th, right? And so this is kind of doing what white people do in a Black way. And so if you are a member of a Divine Nine organization, if you are a Black Greek, I would love for you to, give us a call and let's talk about this, because I don't know what their doctrines are, because it's supposed to be very super secret. But then this young lady was talking about putting something before God. I'll read the post. I'll find it. I'll dig it up, and I'll read the post when we get to that. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about on the show this week, man. Rel, what it do, man? How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Holding on, right? Holding on.
Keep on keeping on.
Right? Kamar's doing very well. Let me just say that, right? Like, Kamar's doing fabulous.
Hey, that's dope. I'm glad to hear that.
You better say it.
Right. Everybody else, all right. Kamar's doing great.
You better say it. Hey, man, listen. I don't give a fuck if I'm having a bad day. I'm going to tell you I had a good day. I'm going to tell myself I'm having a good day. I'm going to tell myself it's looking up from here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck. It's looking up.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm taking lemons and I'm making lemonade.
Yeah, I'm gonna lie to myself until I believe it.
Hey. Eddie Murphy say lemonade.
I'm having a great day.
Drink.
I'm having a great day. I'm having a great day. I'm having a great day.
Hey.
Positive affirmations. Fletch, I see you in the chat room. He said, "Facts, family. What up? What up?" T.R. Arthur, how you doing, my sister? She said, "Good evening, Kevin Kamar and the Outlaw Radio family." Dion in the chat room. He said, "Kev, what the fuck up?" John Fletcher said, "We are oppressed from the lack of knowledge. The more you know, the more free you are." Well, that was along the lines of where we were driving in the conversation, because once again, I'm one of those people who feels like accountability is big. I'm big on it. So if I don't have something, I don't look around for excuses as to why I don't have it, other than me not doing what I needed to do to get it. Y'all feel me?
Yeah.
But when I looked up the definition of what oppression is, I'm going to read this definition. If the shoe fits, buy a matching purse, right? And if you don't agree, you don't agree.
I thought that's what the thing said.
No. No.
What?
He said, "What? Where you find that shit at, Kev?"
What?
So this is it. Oppression, by definition, is malicious or unjust treatment or exercise of power over a group of individuals, often in the form of governmental authority or cultural opprobrium. It is related to regimentation, class, society, and punishment. Oppression may be overt or covert, depending on how it's practiced. Oppression refers to discrimination when the justice does not target and may not directly affect everyone in society, but instead targets or disproportionately impacts specific groups of people. No universally accepted model or terminology has yet emerged to describe oppression in its entirety, although some scholars cite evidence of different types of oppression, such as social oppression, cultural, political, religious, belief, institutional oppression, and economic oppression. So at the end of the day, I am oppressed, right? Well, hold on. Let me finish, Kamar, before you shoot me up. I'm saying I changed my opinion on this because I am a part of a group of people. And because of our culture, right? Because of our culture, we are subject to malicious or unjust treatment or exercise of power over us, often in the form of governmental authority or cultural opprobrium, which basically means as a member of our group, I fit the bill, So how I feel and what I am is two different things, right? In this case. So I had to say, well, I guess I am oppressed in that regard. And so now,
we have our people too. We have some of us that feel like we're not a part of that oppressed group. Because, I think earlier I was just saying, you know what I mean? If you feel like you're oppressed or if you think you're oppressed, you are. You know what I mean? Because you have a blockage set. Well, and my blockage is right where I feel like these people are stopping me. You know what I mean? Like I can only get so far to where they let me. So in your mind, you are oppressed. You're a part of these people that feel like that. I am a part of this big group, but I'm a part of the group that don't feel like that.
Well, okay.
That's what you're saying, right? Because that's how I feel.
Well, no.
That's how I feel. I'm saying.
Right, that's how you feel. That's fine. That's cool. I get what you're saying, but I guess my thing was more or less that although I've kind of stepped outside of their box, right? I'm an anomaly. I'm not the norm, right? And so for me to be able to mentally be able to kind of maneuver through it and get to the point where I feel like I got way more control over myself than I was told if I just put my mind to work. Now, you remember we talked about Black people really being in a situation where we give away more power than what's taken from us, right? So it's that mindset of, well, no, I'm not giving my power away, but at the end of the day, I can be lumped in at any given time with this group because if the police pull me over and want to fuck me over, they'll fuck me over. If there's an asshole who works for the city zoning committee or permit committee, he can come in and make you have a fucked off day because he's trying to stop your shine. It may not affect your hustle at all, but because of the color of your skin, you're subject to that treatment. That's why I say then I guess we're all still oppressed because we don't really have equality. This is not a society that's, where we've achieved a high level of equality.
I feel more like I'm targeted to be oppressed. It's more of a target. I'm part of a group that's targeted. You know what I mean? And like like you said, we give away more power than, you know what I mean, that's really taken from us. So to believe that I'm a part of this oppression, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I'm giving away some of this power.
I get you. Words mean something, and you don't want to speak that. I get it. I get what you're saying. But on a real intellectual level, because the second part of this is oppression refers to discrimination when the injustice does not target and may not directly afflict everyone in society, but instead targets or disproportionately impacts specific groups of people. You get what I'm saying? So even though those policies out there are supposed to be fair for everybody, we know that white people are going to get a break or going to throw a monkey wrench in your situation so they can get ahead. And even though you might operate all day long like I'm a Svengali of independence and black empowerment, there's a situation where you could walk into an office here and that institutional racism will smack you right in your face.
Right.
And there's nothing you could do about it.
But I don't think that's only reason I don't feel like that would be oppression in my place. I feel like that would be more of racism. You know what I mean? Because what I'm trying to do in my mind, what I'm trying to do financially, I can't see a roadblock.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like if I'm thinking financially, when I think of oppressed, I think financial oppression. Like we can only do so much.
That was one of them. Economic oppression is one of them.
You know what I'm saying?
But then that includes you in that oppressed group.
And that's why I say I feel like I'm a part of a group that's targeted.
Look at it. Okay.
And really, like we just said, like this can all be in the mind too.
Look at the Tax Act. Look at what we just seen.
Right.
That's economic oppression because what you're doing is you're not bringing in, you're pouring out in terms of economic, in terms of black people and poverty in this community. So we couldn't do shit about them passing that.
Right.
No matter, and we know this white people live in Milwaukee too. But if you're already poor, if you're already behind the 8 ball, it affects you disproportionately more than them. Let me catch my chat room because I got to get Rail spin on this too. I know Rail live a certain lifestyle. And it's one of them, I'm saying like we call him the hippie, right? But he lives kind of like a against the grain kind of counterculture.
You gotta watch you, Kev, man. You throw us conscious folk in these groups, man.
This is not the time for you to call me on my shit.
Hey, Kev, you people us, you know what I'm saying?
It's not the consciousness though. It's not that. It's not that. I'm gonna tell you. Let me catch the chat.
Man, I'm just talking.
It ain't the consciousness. It just seemed like that. Shay and Croom in the chat room. How you doing, my brother? Hey, peace, Outlaws. How you doing, man? How you doing, brother Shay from Shay and Croom from the Mile High? With Frontline Black News and the Revolutionary Agenda with Shabaka's Black Experienced Enhanced. Tiarsha said, I was definitely going to ask you where you find that definition. She was with you on that, Kamar. Like, what the hell? Over there drunk in a motherfucker.
What the hell?
He said, I'm glad you finally admit that, Kev. I've been saying we are oppressed for the longest, and I was told I didn't know what I was talking about, and I was angry and bitter. Okay. This is
okay. Well, how about this, Kev? Maybe it depends on what you're trying to do. Like your aim, like, you know what I mean? What you trying to do in life.
He said we have a caste system in this country as quiet as it's kept.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
You know what I mean? And like oppressed, again, I just feel like oppressed mean is stopping you from doing something. Like from elevating you, from growing or something.
Well, I still think that, but I think it affects me more than I probably, took on.
It affects us all. You know what I mean? Because it's that, okay, oppression. I feel like I can be a part of it where it's like if I go in the bank and somebody in a white dude with equal credentials as I do go in the bank,
he's gonna get the loan over you.
You know what I mean? Shit like that. You know what I mean?
And at any given time, you can be subject to that. So that means you're a part of that group, regardless of how you personally feel. Because you'll get a nigga moment.
If I allow myself to be in that moment.
Well, you ain't got no choice if it's 12 OPD unless you go Black Belt Jones. You're gonna hop out the car like,
in my mind, I'm finna grind it out for everything I get. That's how I always got it. So like I don't see me being oppressed in that kind of way.
Ernest says, Kamar, if the police wrongfully put their knee on your neck by racially profiling you, you're being oppressed.
Well, I guess I feel like that's an act of racism.
Well, we're gonna talk about the connection there then. Paris says that part, it's all racism, white supremacy at the end of the day, and we need to wake up to that and address it accordingly in all 9 areas of human activity. He said those areas are economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and health and nutrition.
Now I feel like our kids grow up oppressed in the education with it, you know what I mean, on that level, because they don't teach us the same stuff that they teach other kids. You know what I mean? So I feel like we may be oppressed in the education.
The That's part of it. That's one of the
You know what I'm
designations.
saying? So that's why I say I feel like it depends on what you're trying to do or what's your aim. You know what I mean? Where you at in life? Like right now, I just ain't trying to see it. I feel like if I claim it, then you know what I mean. And I just ain't trying to claim that shit.
If a white alderman doesn't want you selling your product legally, they can stop you. Jesse says racism, white supremacy is oppression against non-white people in all 9 areas of human activities I just named above. Tiasha said Rail walks around naked and do meditation. I don't know that Rail walk around naked meditating. I don't know.
Not the naked part. It might scare my kids. But
yeah. Come on, Daddy.
Whenever
You're a little
opportunity
too free
arises,
now, Daddy.
I'm definitely
Shout out to Mariah. How you doing, cuz? Oh, she said, "Damn, cuz. Good evening, Outlaws." So, Rail, we in this topic about oppression and how we feel and where how do you look at this thing? With all the stuff we just talked about, what are you thinking about in terms of are you oppressed?
I look at it as your perception is your reality. If you feel you are oppressed, you are in fact oppressed. I like to look at it more so like Dr. Claude Anderson. He basically is economics, and the reason Black people are targeted is because we're the easiest target because we lack solidarity, we lack leverage or economic backing. Hell, most of us lack a nation. so,
Come on, man.
I look at it like that. I mean, but but I believe people are people. Motherfuckers, if they can fuck you over and get away with it, they'll fuck you over and get away with it, no matter what color you are. I mean, I definitely know that being a Black man, we do share we get the brunt of the oppression according to our perception. But I was talking to a guy today who snapped on my line. He was a Hispanic guy, and I told him, he what we were waiting for the food share, and he like, you know what, I know what it is, man, and nothing against you, Rail, you've been extra helpful, but I know this redneck ass state, as soon as he seen my name, he knew what it was, and that white boy ain't tell me the shit because he was fucking me over. So this was a Hispanic guy acknowledging that we in the most segregated state in the nation, and he felt that the white person that he talked to file this claim to begin with was singling him out because his ethnic background. So I like I said, perception is reality. As for me, I guess I don't pay attention to whether or not I'm oppressed because in my mind, I'm going to succeed regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, I think a lot of our obstacles, okay, I guess I'm not going because I don't want to offend anybody.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I'll say this.
I'm trying to be nice. I'm
In
not going to be the only
my
bad guy on here. Come on now.
my day-to-day reflection of myself, my goal is to remove as many self-inflicted obstacles out my life as possible. I'm not gonna worry about the ones that I'm not putting on myself until I handle them shits.
So
and then I'll worry about what other people doing to me.
Believe it or not, this show ain't about oppression or whether or not we're oppressed. That's not why I called it white noise. The reason why that comes into play is because we had this discussion on whether or not how we felt, right? And you said, I hear both of y'all saying, and I understand what both of y'all are saying in terms of your perception is your reality. But part of your perception means clarity. So to see the whole picture, to know I can travel 500 miles in that direction, but at the 500 mile, there's the unknown that I need to be prepared for, right? So yeah, you can go so far, but just to be aware of the whole system. Now, the point of this all is I wanted to ask people how much of what we go through in this city is our fault. We say the other night, we're going to do a show called It Ain't the White Man. It ain't the white man, right?
The self-inflicted obstacles.
I wanted to go there, but then I ran into the true definition of systemic racism. And I've been saying for years, it's systematic, but it's also systemic. And systemic racism is that racism that's almost inert. It's almost, it's not even physical. It's a belief. It is a norm. It is behavioral. And so you got people who are in situations where they are just systemically racist. They don't know why. They can't necessarily describe it to you, but they look at the way they move, look how they vote, look where they live, look at when they look at us, what is their opinion of us? And brother Dion was saying, well, if they knew more about us, they would treat us differently. I said I disagree. I think they don't give a fuck about us. They can put themselves in a position where they don't even have to deal with us because they know what they've done to us, so they know the devastation that's left behind. So let me keep up with the chat room. It says the elephant in the room is we have been conditioned to ignore, and we can ignore it all we want. Doesn't mean it isn't there and it doesn't affect you. I guess that was my analogy with the 600 mile, but it was a little too far reaching. I understand when I lose the room, it's all good, right? You got to know it's out there. That was my point. You got to know that sooner or later I'm gonna hit some unknown. Ewok says the definition says a group of people. We are a group of people. It's cool to believe in yourself individually, but you are still a part of the group. That was my point. That's why I said I have to now say I'm oppressed as well. Now I'm not.
I hear you and I agree with you. I'm just saying I still ain't agreeing with you.
Right, I get you. You're saying I'm not trying to have that. I ain't trying to eat that, right?
Right.
But I think me understanding it is because I can look at areas where I'm not suffering as bad as some of my people from some of the systemic racist policies that are in place. I'm saying black economics, right, is where I always tell people we should really start if there's going to be any kind of revolution or any kind of activity or action towards let's have a movement where we we can stand against and they'll change their policies. It's got to be economic, right? It has to be. And when we talk about nationwide, so here in Milwaukee, where there's supposedly 48% of this city are people of color, and I'm just talking economics here, the median income is still somewhere around 29.5 unless it's went down, right? The white median income is 60,000. Nationally, our median is 50,000, and theirs is somewhere around, I think it's 80 or 80 to 100. So economically, that creates a whole situation because you got a whole group of people who just don't have. When you don't have, you tend to live in underserved communities that don't flourish. There's no room for you to flourish. Ain't that what the Rose from the Concrete is about, right? And so, yeah, racism affects them. If they can't rise above, then they're trapped in that area. I happen to be able to ski my way out of there. I ducked a bullet. But I'm still suffering from oppression because should I have the job that I should? Do I have the job that I should have right now? No, I don't. All of us should be CEOs. They get jobs just on GP. Yeah, you go in most. That's why I laugh when the county talks about racism and discrimination is a health hazard, and we like, yeah, we know. Well, we're gonna put DEI in. Yeah, we see it. We're gonna talk about diversity and we're gonna talk about inclusion. Okay, y'all did all that, but you didn't change your hiring practices. 85 to 90% of all administrative positions are occupied by you, right? Yeah, you got 50 black people working here, but they in between security, custodial, and a couple secretaries. I'm not knocking those people who getting that money. I'm just saying there's a disparity there in earning potential. So when you look, I refer back to the Tax Act. When you look around, when the city's not where it should be financially, according to them, which Mama Jenkins has told us several different times, it's a lie anyways, right? That's some bullshit. But they play that game on our back, so you end up with an egregious tax act. I don't want no voters in this city to forget about this tax act when it's time to vote. That's why I'm going to bring David King on here, right? I'm bringing in black Republicans. That's how serious this shit is. Because I'm pissed about that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason.
More enemies.
Huh?
You finna make some more enemies.
I mean, get in line.
He's finna go down.
Right? Yeah. He's been on here. He's coming again. I want to shake us up and let them know that we have to change the way we do things. We keep doing the same thing over and over. That's really why we are where we're at. We haven't even changed. You think about, I'm only 48 years old. right? In my 48 years, I've seen very little change in terms of how our community moves. I've seen more government funds allocated for social service programs, but our mentality by and large has not changed. It's still murder, death, kill. And I love when people say back in the day, nobody was getting killed. People been getting killed in Milwaukee forever. Forever. So when I was little, people was getting dead bodies used to get found. Like it was like I remember, so I remember we had the rapist. What was the serial rape? What was he called? Come on, when we was little, the ski mask rapist. Remember when we was little, we had the ski mask rapist and shit. Like it was like you couldn't go nowhere. You scared of the ski mask rapist. It's always been that kind of dysfunction.
God damn.
Yeah, man. That's how old I am, bro. That's how old I am, man. I remember the ski mask.
Ski mask race. Motherfuckers running around here looking like what? Dumb Donald?
Well, he was a dude who was wearing a ski mask and he was jumping out on women.
Oh man.
A lot of women got raped. Listen, somebody put me
that's
on
terrible. And I ain't laughing about the women getting raped. I'm just when I think of a ski mask, I think of the dude off of Fat Albert and shit.
It's the old school ski mask, right? The knitted one. It ain't slick like today with the shiesty. We talking about a real ski mask. Like, yeah, man, the ski mask rapist, man.
God damn.
Well, he had the city on shook. I'm saying that to say there's always been crime, right?
Did they ever catch him?
I don't know. That's what I was finna say. If you out there and you up on it, did they ever catch the ski mask rapist?
Because I'm sitting here laughing at him and shit. I don't need him to be free.
Well, we talking about the early 80s, so he would have to be, and the way the community is now, he'd get shot. I mean, the way these sisters is out here now, come on, man. Group of studs get together and beat that dude senseless. Man. It was a little bit different back then. But I want to talk about how much of this is our fault as Black people. I get it. I'm all down with hanging whatever responsibilities that the white man has, or white people, or the powers that be, or however you want to define them. I'm all with giving them their just due and their involvement in this. And the way they established this system is crystal clear. They didn't establish it with us in mind. It's funny to me that we always talk about why this government, this Constitution, this Bill of Rights, and all this kind of stuff is ineffective and dysfunctional. Well, because it was written by a bunch of old, white, rich, racist dudes. That's why. They didn't even write it with their women in mind. It was all about white men. They set themselves up. Now, when you meet white people who say, well, I'm not racist, but my question always turns to, well, do you inform your friends or your family when they doing some racist shit? Do you call it out? Do you stop it? Do you interfere? Because if you don't, then don't tell me you're not racist, because if you seen one of yours taking a loss, you'd stop, right? Oh, shit, that's the homie. Nah, that's Leroy. Keep going. Probably he should just do what they said do. I'm just saying, some of this, the murder in our community, the violence in our community, I want to talk about this in our community as well, in Milwaukee. A real live statistic. And we're talking about we understand the nature of segregation and the effect that it has in this city, because we know who lives where. But I found an interesting statistic that says in Milwaukee, the homicide rate is about 17 killings per 100,000 people, right? The rate for the city's Black population is 35 killings per 100,000, right? When it comes to homicides, Black people in Milwaukee are 8 times more likely to get shot and killed in this city, right? It's like we've been doing the same thing for years and years, but we keep blaming other people. I just want I hear the white man. What is the white man doing to you that you can point out specifically that's holding you back right now? Whether it be a government policy, whether it be, I pointed at, we know the economic part of it hits us all in the ass. That's a no-brainer. But what aren't you able to do in your life right now because of a white man?
And even still, I feel like we can't say they holding us back financially, because really it's a matter of us just gaining some knowledge on how to get some money.
This is true.
So, you know what I mean? At this point, we can't say they holding us back from getting money.
Well, in terms of starting business and generating capital, then we start to look at the discrimination there, in which in Milwaukee, we know that they've used maps and area codes since the 30s to keep us from being able to get the money. Because like as a small white guy, you referenced it as a small business white guy, a small business, he's going to be able to get a loan with a low interest rate and all kinds of benefits to start his business. He's more likely than you to be able to do so. So you might have had a dream and put the sweat equity in and be out here doing your thing, and he just come along and get this loan, and you go to 5-6 banks and they turn you down, and you keep saying, I don't understand why they keep turning me down. My credit good and whatever. It's because you part of that group. You lumped into it. No, we're not gonna give, we're not gonna give them anything. We're not gonna give you. But Kamar, community economics. If we didn't have to go to them to borrow that money, you feel me? We fumbled in Milwaukee. We had a black bank. It failed. From what I heard, it was mismanaged severely. It wasn't white man. It wasn't a white man. It was the white man who came in when they had got regulated, right? Closed that shit down and left with the computers. But that wasn't the white man. If we're talking about living in a community where we are this much more likely to get shot and killed, most of those crimes, I don't believe in the black on black crime thing, y'all. I understand. But in our community, when we see us killing us, that's not the white man. If you want to go and say, well, the white man made the gun, right? This is how deep it goes with some of our people. I ain't lying.
Yeah, I know.
You say, well,
they give it to me, man.
We're disproportionately convicted in the court of law. We are disproportionately convicted for the same offenses that are committed by our white counterparts. This is true.
How about instead of arguing that point, let's argue the fact that we don't need to be doing these offenses to go to jail.
There you go. Boycott the jail. You
see, now you know what I mean? Now we debunking these ideals.
Weapons. These are weapons.
Yeah, let's call them weapons. Yeah.
These are weapons. And any struggle that you in, you're gonna need weapons, you're gonna need tools. You don't just take a hike without a backpack full of shit to help you survive, right?
And most of all, man, we got brains. We can think our way past shit too.
It's hard. That becomes very hard.
It can, but we can do it.
We can. You can do it. You can do it.
Gotta stop sugarcoating shit. Stop giving motherfuckers pacifiers.
Is that it?
Just nigga, just do it.
Is that it though?
Well, I mean, that's
do we give each other too many excuses? Are we sucking on one big ass pacifier?
I feel like we do give each other too many excuses.
Okay. It's like I said.
I could be out somewhere, right, and be like, "Ooh, I'm tired, man. I should go take me a nap." And somebody gonna be like, "Yeah, you sure should." Like, no, I need to get this work done, really.
So you, Steve Harvey, rich people don't sleep.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, that's just a small example. You know,
I got you.
Or just like you said, well, Kamar, it's hard. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of giving a motherfucker a pass. Like, since it's hard, you might not want to try it because it's gonna be hard. Ain't too many people gonna want to do that. Well, to be successful, it ain't too many people that want to do what it takes to be successful.
There you go. That is that thing I was
talking about. It's easier to say I'm oppressed.
Well, they won't let me have it.
You see what I'm saying?
Do it.
They won't let me do this. I can't have it.
But that was that thing.
They ain't gonna do nothing but take it. They just gonna knock me back down. Like, well, fuck it. Get up and get knocked down and get up again.
That was that thing I said. Well, when people pray, you say maybe you shouldn't pray for specific things. You should pray to be prepared to receive them.
Right.
Like I don't want to pray for a Cadillac. I want to pay for the financial situation where I can afford a Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't want to just own the Cadillac. I want to be able to maintain it. I want to be able to, be the master of it. It shouldn't be dictating my budget. Because if it is, then I shouldn't have it. Shay says, do you use your white privilege for good opposed to for evil? That's what I ask him. Yeah, because they all have that. I want to talk about white fragility. I'm gonna get into that too in a second. Jesse Paris says, damn, those is horrible statistics. Yeah, it's a reason why this city is, you can look it up in multiple studies. It says it's the worst place to be a black person, basically. Worst place to raise kids, worst place to live. But then that's this element of us who are here saying, well, hold on, this is doable. This is doable, but it's tough. It is tough to keep your head above water. Is that the song on it? Keeping your head above water? Like, it's tough in Milwaukee. It's tough, and you gotta get down. He said, I'm not able to get the job I want due to the white man. I'm unable to live where I want to live because of the white man. I'm unable to get a business loan to start a business, etc. See, I'm not, you know what?
You really have to have a loan?
Well, I don't have the job that I want.
I guess depending on what kind of business it is, you may want or need a loan. But then you also can work on your credit.
That's true.
To get that loan.
You'll find somebody to loan it to you if your credit.
That's what I see, and this is what I'm saying, man. We keep saying we oppress, but it's ways around that shit. So are we really oppressed, or is just a mental thing that they try to show us by banging on a couple motherfuckers for an example, and they got us believing this shit?
I feel like I'm oppressed because, like I said, as a member of this group, I'm subject to the treatment out of nowhere. Like, so I can't. A lot of times I tell Black people, let's start being more proactive than reactive, saying we know this is coming, so let's be prepared. Like, make sure all our shit's in a row, because even then they'll throw one at us. You know what I'm saying? I would hate for you to be surprised when you encounter and be like, I can't believe it. They did something racist. That's why it's like every time a white celebrity says nigger, people lose their shit. I'm like, what the fuck you expecting to say? Like, right. Like, I don't. What you thought he was cool with all Black people? And when I say the job that I really want to do, it ain't white people keeping me from getting it. It's Black people in charge of these positions. Right. They're gatekeepers. It's my own people, right? I ain't gonna say what it is. Everybody know.
How about that oppression?
Right. Well, see, so I'm subject to it from them because I'm from the hood. I'm just a regular Black dude. I'm not no boule. I'm not no, so they look at me like the white man looks at me. Like, he part of that group too, so he's gonna get subject to that treatment, right? Ace Cooley in the chat room. What it do, Ace? He said, "What up, fellas? We've been trained to hate each other, or conditioned. One of the two. I don't know about training, but at least conditioned. I know a lot of us hate us like a motherfucker. That plays out on social media all day. As funny as it is, and we love race jokes on Outlaw Radio, but I see light skin, dark skin jokes back and forth all the time, and I know that there's still a lot of truth in dark skin versus light skin. It's an inner Black thing. If you know, you know." Jesse said the white man stole the money from the Freedmen's Bureau and used it to create the Federal Reserve. And we get lumped in because the people who get mistreated behind that are us. People who get underestimated, who get underserved. I mean, we all came from this community. Regardless, we have beginnings in this community. So I don't know if I can get to a point where I can say, okay, I've managed to get a little progress made, so I'm no longer a member of my community. You see what I'm saying, Kamar? I don't want to, like, you don't want to own it. I don't want to separate myself from my people.
Well, I ain't saying I ain't a part of the community, but I don't have to own that I'm oppressed, that a motherfucker holding me back.
Yeah, I don't get it in holding me back. I don't
have to own that.
He said,
I understand. I know we part of a group that's targeted every motherfucking day. I go through this shit every day, just like every other nigga.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But that's why I said I'm just speaking on, like, when I think of oppression, I'm thinking of a motherfucker holding you back from doing something.
That's one way to look at it.
And all the different stuff that we spoke on, you know what I mean? There was ways around that shit. You need a business loan, nigga, work on your credit.
Yeah, but one thing you got to do in order to build that credit up is you got to be able to create income. So if you come from a lower economic threshold, that kind of holds you back too. For some people,
we got to do what we got to do, right? We just got to work a job to get our credit right there. You got to do what you got to do, but you got to do it. Ain't no excuses.
But they have to have a job available for you. And if you hold on, Kamar, because we don't want to do this. Anybody who's out there struggling right now, I'm not victim shaming you, especially if you're a person who's really trying to get it and you haven't been able to catch it yet. Now, I do believe persistence will pay off for you eventually. But I know there's some people, because we have what we call a working poor in Milwaukee, people who are working 2 jobs and are still technically poor. So what I'm saying is, what this whole racist power structure does is create an environment where resources to get us ahead financially are not readily there. You really got to be an X-Man. You really got to lock up. And that's possible. But I don't want to make it look like I'm
it's
shitting on
very
people who's
powerful.
struggling,
But
saying
see, Kev,
they
this is
want to
what
be
I'm
struggling.
saying. This right here is what I'm talking about how we giving each other passes. Like, we know this shit hard. You know what I mean? We know this shit hard. We know it's gonna be hard as fuck. You know what I mean? This shit ain't easy for none of us. But the thing is, if we want to get up off our ass, we got to get off our ass regardless of what
Arizona,
the holdback is.
Arizona is on the line. What's popping, man?
Hey, what up, Kev? It's Ace. What's happening with you?
What up, Ace, man? Long time no hear from my brother. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm all right. I'm out here struggling just like everybody else.
Okay, what's on your mind? What's on your mind?
Hey, I mean, this whole subject here, but I look at the situation, and sometimes we gotta look at history, man. There has been a time when we have been able to get ahead, but understand we're in the mode where they're gonna sabotage us anyway. You know what I'm saying? Look at Black Wall Street, look at Rosewood, look at situations like that. So also along with that is the conditioning of it. So what they do is kind of kill us mentally. I don't know if is that the Willie Lynch? I don't know if that's what it's called.
Please don't reference
So
Willie Lynch.
It feels like
he didn't exist.
Yeah, I don't.
He didn't exist.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm talking about today's day and age, bro.
I know. I'm just saying. People always quote Willie Lynch, and he didn't even actually really exist. It's a fallacy.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, it's you get no hope. You know what I'm saying? So even with that happening, what people fail to realize, let's just say this. There's been situations where Black folk have done something. You know, what have happened if that goes against the greater good, let's just say the power company or something that's in that area. You had a gentleman that was over in Africa create the very first it was a car that didn't need, it was actually the first car that was it was operated by hydrogen and water. What happened is a brother got poisoned. That hit and matter of fact, that hit in Buffalo at that grocery store.
Yeah.
What your elites willing to do is kill a million to kill one. You know what I'm saying? That brother right there, same thing. He created a truck that was ran off water and hydrogen.
But
so what they did is
if a white man creates a engine that runs off water and he ain't with the right family, he getting killed too. I didn't look at that as necessarily racist. I said that's all in big bit. That's big money right there you fucking with.
But that got to play a role in it. We ain't got no hand in that though, kid.
That's
right. What I'm saying?
That's why he got killed. So do you feel oppressed?
Yeah. So,
do you feel oppressed?
I put it like this. Anytime we do move up, let's just think, and I've been in that situation where when you move up in that financial situation, you feel alone, you know, because you see where people looking at you weird because they don't look like you. Or what's happening is when you hang around with your people, they think you better than them, and you're trying to give them ideas.
Yeah, Uncle Tom.
Because the fact of the matter is, we tired. Like myself, I'm tired of it. I feeling successful, and ain't nobody up here with me. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody up here with me, or very few is up here with me, or it's nobody I get to network with. Once again, and like you said, that boule shit, that is a problem. That is a problem. So we got
Divine Nine, the Greeks.
Right. We got the racist ass white people, and we got these motherfuckers that's in the Q dogs and shit.
That's because
nine. They want to be special, right? They want to be the special Negroes. You know what I'm saying? So we got it. It's a double whammy.
And let me say this too for the people who are, like I said, with the Greek organizations. I do understand that they came along at a time where Black solidarity, especially amongst educated Black people, was really important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's kind of like pooling resources. But in like today's times, have those groups become divisive? Because they basically become gatekeepers in a lot of shape, form, and fashions. Like if you're not in this sorority and I'm high up, you might be qualified than my frat brother or my sorority sister, and I give them the job.
Hey man, maybe we more oppressed by our own people.
That's a whole nother branch. Ace, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. how much of what's going on right now, because I heard you reference Black Wall Street, which a lot of black people do, because there's obviously evidence of us trying to pull ourselves up by the proverbial bootstraps, and they came and kicked the boots out our hand. But once again, we have to be honest about it and say Black Wall Street was actually rebuilt. What actually killed Black Wall Street in the end was integration, something that we wanted very badly. We complain now about black businesses. Hold on, we complain now about lack of black businesses, but yet and still, as soon as integration was passed, we ourselves abandoned black businesses. They went out, they went under because we wanted to go and shop with the white folks. So, is it our fault? I mean, is it their fault that we're economically deprived? Is it their fault? Is it the white man's fault?
No, yes and no, because at the same time, the worst thing would ever happen to us is when we integrated with the motherfucker.
That's what I'm saying. But we wanted that.
Like,
we marched for it. We protested for it. We made songs to do it. Like we was, yes, let's come on. Let us in. Let us sit at your restaurant counter.
Right, but when you've been held down so long, we just want to be respected. That's it. We want to be respected. We want to be treated equally. So we don't want to be looked at no different than either one of them or anybody else. But in reality is, we always gonna make it. It's always gonna be about race. You know why? Because the motherfuckers with the money, they make it about race. They make it about race. It ain't us. We ain't got enough money to make shit about race.
There are black billionaires. I like how we say that too. Like we ain't got shit. And I did give the income thresholds, but by and large, there's more black millionaires, and this is an age where we got black billionaires. Actually, you see what I'm saying? So instead of saying we wanted to be respected, we should have been saying we wanted to be empowered. Because I can tell you this: Mexicans don't give a shit about what white people think about them. They give a shit about what other Mexicans think about them. Asians don't care about what white people think. They care about what other Asians think. Hasidic people, Jewish people don't care about what nobody think about them except for what they think about them. They pour all of that back into themselves. We are the only race that's worried about, we want y'all respect. Why we can't eat with y'all? Why? Listen, we stop eating our own traditional foods to get a taste of their food. And what have they done now? Come back and said those foods are delicacies. And now we go to them to buy our food.
So, once again, we don't trust each other, Kev.
It's a lot.
We don't trust each other. Well, we getting around to it now because we have no choice because the shit they doing to the food. But understand, like I said, in our head, they always had the better product.
White ice is colder.
You get what I'm saying?
White ice is colder.
Yeah, ice is colder.
Some of them white. How we make one of them nigger pies? We want a nigger pie. We make one of them white pies, nigger pies.
You ain't got no sense.
Nigger pies. Jesse said, not everybody has the same definition of success and idea of success. This is very true. And what I was going to say is that what we do too is we let them define to us what success is. Like you want to drive a Volvo, let's be honest. You want a Volvo because a white man drives a Volvo. We have some money, right? Like you want to live in a certain neighborhood because his neighborhood looks like this. We don't make sure our neighborhoods look like that. We say, hey, I'm successful now. I can be accepted by white people. That's why if you go platinum off R&B singers say, but I have no pop hit, right? You got to get crossover success. We desire their approval, and I think we should stop with that shit because that's self-inflicted. That's not the white man's fault that we don't love each other and love him more. Jeff Crape is in the chat room. He says, I'm the top of an industry that is ran by a majority.
Hey, and right there is why I feel like we oppress more by our own, because the love ain't there. If the love was there, man, we'd be good because we'd be fucking with each other the right way.
Dion, what it do, man? What's up, big homie? I can't hear you, Dion.
My mic up. I had to call you guys before I hit that highway tonight. I hear you. I don't know what to call it, Kev. I don't know what to call it. Hello?
I'm listening. You hot.
Yeah. Because, I mean, a lot of times people, I think all of us want to look at things a little different. But unless we really, none of us understand, and we probably do. I'm not saying that you don't, but we as a black people, and black people probably don't ever want to admit it, we suffer from what they call, I believe they call it PTSD, post-traumatic slave syndrome. And so when we look at the white man, yes, man. Them people enlisted, man, don't you want to? Where we just coming? Where we just coming from, man? The crack. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man. We had slavery. Listen, we had slavery. 200 and some years of slavery. We had the Jim Crow era. How long? The Reconstruction era after slavery really was the beginning of Jim Crow. Right. Then we had the Civil Rights era. Then we had the war on crack. These people, do you think that because we seen a nigga in the White House or because you get a PhD or a master's degree, it's a lot of things that's happening to us.
Leave my degrees out of this. Leave my degrees out of this.
Hold on. It's a lot of things that we don't understand psychologically that flows through your DNA. That's just like I always hear what you're saying. Wait, hold on. Let me finish. That's just like it's a lot of things that I hear you saying. I really respect that when you talk about your mother and when she talk about the Jim Crow South. And then it's a lot of niggas who say what we would do. Yeah, we would probably do that. And you know what I'm saying? But guess what? We could fuck some of them hunkies up, shoot at them or whatever, but Grandpa Paul can't go up north like we can. My mama can't go. My brother, your uncle. You know what I'm saying? Them white folks, sometimes, yeah, we could probably fuck them up, beat them up, shoot them, do whatever we gonna do. But guess what? Our family is still stuck there. That's what I'm saying, man. These people they still oppressing us, man. They smacking us in the face by letting the immigrants over here, giving them resources that a lot of niggas can't get, and you've been over here your whole life. You've been over here your whole life.
Subject to that treatment.
You know what I'm saying? You got Indians, you know, not Native American Indians, but you got Habib and Hamid come over here. They open up gas stations and all JJ's chickens and stuff like that. And you know, a nigga could open up a restaurant and a motherfucker say his shit too high. What you mean, bro? Got a 6-piece for $3.99. The Arab got one for $8.99. But you know what I'm saying? That's just like how you guys are just like the white man ice and coda. Psychologically, we suffer from Stockholm syndrome. That's why, you know, we be talking because, like, I really don't. I mean, you know, everybody got their choice, but I just can't respect when a brother be talking conscious, but you married to the oppressor. Because regardless of whatever, that white woman, she shares the blood of the oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? So I just can't respect that. But we have been stood on for so long that anything, you know, we want to live in this neighborhood because we feel like the white man neighborhood better. We want to marry the white. What up? Go on, Kev. Come on with it, Kev.
Just to go with the theme of white noise tonight, let me ask you a question. Number one, do you feel like you are oppressed? Do you feel like you're oppressed?
Do I feel like I'm oppressed? Yes, I'm oppressed. I might not be oppressed in the sense of how they was oppressed in the Jim Crow era and in the Civil Rights era, but yes, I definitely feel I'm oppressed. Hell yeah, I feel I'm oppressed.
Number two, the second part of that question is, what can't you do right now that you want to do because of the white man?
It's a lot that I can't do that I want. But I can't. When I leave this job tonight, every night that I leave this job, I work in graft. Every night when I leave this job, I'm nervous because I don't want that police to pull me over.
Man.
You ain't really supposed to be in his neighborhood. Or check it out, if I drive over a little bit, guess what? I ain't supposed to be in his neighborhood. What?
Answer the question, man. What are you trying?
It's a lot.
Give me one major one that you can't do right now because of the white man.
One major one that I can't do. I feel like I can't. Hold on real quick. Let me park this motherfucker and cut it off. Yeah, I feel like it's certain things that I can't do as far as going certain places. You feel what I'm saying? Like tonight, I'm going to be driving down the highway. I'm going down south. I'm going to Tennessee. So when I'm coming through them back roads in Indiana and Kentucky, I'm going to be a little fearful.
But you
feel what I'm saying?
He's not stopping you.
No. But see, and that's the whole thing, though. You know what I'm saying? See, you got to understand what Reconstruction is. We can't look at being oppressed as being oppressed back in the 60s, the 40s, and the 50s, and maybe the late 80s, and stuff like that. It's a whole different form of oppression. We have economic. Wait, hold on,
Brother D, but you're evading. You're evading. I want you to tell me one thing. Because I can pick one big thing right now, right? If I could say, what is the white man doing to me right now? Well, he's enforced this tax on me. I can look at that and say, economically, I'm oppressed because I can compare my salary to my white counterparts, and I'm sure they make more money. So I need you to tell me one thing that you want to do, Dion wants to do, that the white man specifically is stopping you from doing.
It's a bunch of things.
I just need one.
But you're not allowing me. You're not allowing me to think. I mean, you're not allowing me to say it because I could say the thing.
You breaking up. You
know what I'm saying? Like, okay, say for instance, can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I got you now. I can hear you now.
Okay. All right, I wanna own a firearm.
Okay, there we go.
But
and the white man won't let you. He won't let you get one, right?
I was a victim of the crack epidemic.
There we go. Okay.
There we go. That's something that happened already. What's stopping you from doing something?
That's the thing, though. We keep on trying to compare the oppression of today with the oppression of yesterday, and there's no way that we can sit up there and compare that. Maybe
we talking about from this point on.
Okay, us as black people. Okay,
maybe
us from this point on.
Us as black people. No, I hear you. I hear what you're saying, Bull. But don't you see? The thing is, though, just say for instance, right? If I wanted to open up a business, and I didn't want to open it up in the inner city of Milwaukee, I wanted to come out here in Saltville, or I wanted to go in Grafton. I wanted to come in their community and open it up. It'll probably be all type of zoning things and zoning laws that I have to go to because they probably don't want people like me.
Go ahead. Let's let him finish. Come on, let's let him finish.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
They probably don't. They probably don't want people like me out here bringing that service to their area. You understand what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody else out here probably. Even if nobody out here, even if no one else out here was supplying the service that they might need that I can supply, due to the simple fact of the color of my skin, they're not going to allow me out here. You understand what I'm saying? So, see, we keep on trying to think that these white folks is standing on us individually. They're standing on us as a whole. Right now, I bet you if I probably wanted to buy a home out here, it's the interest rate probably gonna be higher. I'm probably gonna go through all type of nooks and crannies because they probably gonna the first house I get, because they already gonna probably pass it by the neighborhood. Like, well, it's a
there's
it's an African American out here.
There's black people who live out there.
There's black people and there's black people out there.
The only way I know, Dion, the only way I know is because when I go like to my son's games in Grafton, in Pewaukee, in Waukesha South, all these places, I see black people, and they live out there.
And we keep.
I'm not saying that it's not black people out here, but they're probably exceptional black people. It's gonna be one. You know what? Matter of fact, them niggas that probably live out here, I bet you they got biracial kids, or they got a mixed wife, or their wife is white. Okay. You know what I'm saying? The whole 27th bird line ain't gonna move out here. Because ain't no low incomes out here.
It's a different conversation.
Ain't no low incomes.
That's what they trying to do now.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, that's just like you remember back in the days.
Let me get Kamar's response. Let me get Kamar's response because he's been trying to respond for like 10 minutes. Kamar, you got a response to Dion.
We keep saying they ain't letting no black business. They won't let no black businesses in these white communities. But we have black businesses in white communities. Like, how can we just throw that out there and say they ain't gonna let me do that if I try? And this is what I'm saying. We got to do the work, man. At least try and see. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a reason why you can't. Maybe you might not even want a business in that spot. You dig what I'm saying? Like, we got to stop saying that, man. And it's only gonna happen. And see, like, if you believe in that, you saying it and you believe in it, you would never even try to get a business in that community. You see what I'm saying? So like, how can, and this is what I mean by like this whole oppression thing. This could be a mind game, a whole mind trick, a whole mind fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we got them believing they can't get no businesses out here, but really they trying to move us out there. What happened to gentrification?
Okay, Dion, I just wanted to make sure that everybody gets to speak because I don't like when people talk over each other. It's a pet peeve.
So, no. I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening.
I just don't want you to feel like you ain't getting, you ain't getting the response.
No. I mean, I hear it, and don't get me wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with my brother thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? He feel one way. I feel another way. You feel one way. You feel what I'm saying? I just feel like I see more than what others see far as certain things. You feel what I'm saying? And regardless, maybe it could be my mind playing.
That's me adding the call.
Rosewood. Damn, where's my pickup truck at? With Rosewood and what you call that, Black Wall Street, and what's the other one in Georgia? Was it Sycamore? It was something. I can't think of the name of it right off the hand right now. But when they came up there and they made all the black people move up out of there,
that was like
they
100
put
years ago, though.
But it doesn't. See, that's the whole thing about it. Like we trying to, if we forget the past, we gonna repeat it.
Well, no,
I'm gonna
but you
tell you
can't
that. We gonna repeat it.
You're supposed to hold on. Hey, we supposed to learn from the past, right? You learn about how they stopped shit before, so we can figure out how to move forward. You know what I mean? So we can figure out how to move forward without that happening.
I'll let you know, Jeff. Give me a second, because I want Rail to be able to get in here too, because he was trying to put something in here. Rail, what was you saying?
Right on, cool, bro.
No, I was just asking if Dion was referring to Seneca Village that was in that park, Central Park in New York.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that was one too that they came. Well, listen. Once again, we know. First of all, two things have been established, and Dion and I even agreed on that as a member of this group, you're subject to this behavior, whether or not you got your shit straight or not. That's a reality. Like you can prepare like a son of a bitch. If one of them want to step out of line and create a situation, and you might even be able to overcome the situation, but you got to work a little bit harder to do it. And it's all because you're black. So, but at the same time, where I'm at is, yeah, we know shit has been done in the past to us. And if the intention of that was to prevent us from trying to persevere in the future, it's not effective. I'm not carrying around the stress of a slave simply because I understand the difference between, like I said, I was fortunate enough to have a parent who explained to me why I was nowhere near the situation she had been in. And her mission was to make sure I grew up not in that situation. I need Jeff. I'm gonna let you talk. Let me catch my chat room because I'm way behind. So let me catch my chat room. Damn, I'm so far behind. Jesse says, Kamara, it's that kind of thinking that it's one of the reasons why we haven't rebuilt Black Wall Street.
Maybe
Black Wall Street was rebuilt. It was destroyed by integration.
Hey, listen, I don't want to rebuild Black Wall Street.
Maybe you want to build a new one.
But
not call it that.
Hey, let me expound on that. I feel like I don't think we need another Black Wall Street because we don't need no town where they can point us out, where they can come bomb us like that again.
That's just all in one spot.
You know what I'm saying? We just need to know who to fuck with. We just need to
love Milwaukee though. They can still do
it.
Hold on, y'all. Calm down. Everybody will get to speak, relax and shit. Go ahead. Come on.
We just need to love each other enough to have an unwritten rule to know to only fuck with us. We don't need a Black Wall Street. We know which electricians to call. We know which plumbers to call. We know which cab companies to call. We know, you know what I'm saying? Like, because when you put everybody in one town, it's too easy to bomb us. We learned that with Black Wall Street.
Okay.
This dude had to be a street nigga, bro. He get it.
Okay, Jeff, I wanted to make sure you got a chance to get your spiel. So go ahead. I'm trying to keep it civil, y'all.
Yeah, bro. You know, I heard the young man talking right there, man, but I want to speak on something like what the doctor said right there, man. He said that so 100, man, about, you know, when you talking about business credit and all that, man. I want to say this, though, man, is I think people put levels and limits to what you're supposed to do, dude. Business is business. It has nothing to do with black and white. And cats they get tripped up on that. And I want y'all to hear me out when I say this. Like my guy KB, Big Kevin Barnes right here, man. I look at this dude's LinkedIn page, it's like, dude, this dude's done it. So when it comes to community dealing with people and all that, man, I can't speak on that. That dude does that. I don't. But this is what I'm saying, though. Of the industry I'm in, bro, I don't want to speak on that too much because I don't want to take that platform. But what I'm saying, dude, is business. Money makes money, bro. And the thing is, it's like content creators on Facebook, whatever you're doing, bro, you got to have a good business and do solid work, bro. It's just that. You know, when you look at what people are doing with businesses, is that you can get somebody that, oh man, I need a discount, I need to do this, I need to do that. It don't work that way, dude. We're looking at micro versus macro economics, boss. Is that,
Okay.
dude, it's a matter of getting your money in.
So Jeff,
I'm gonna roll back. I'm gonna say this.
Jeff, let me ask you the same question I asked Dion that I've asked everybody on the show. Number one, and it's a multi-part question. Number one, do you feel oppressed?
Kev, you know what? Do I feel oppressed? No. Have I been oppressed? Yes.
Okay.
I knew my situation coming in on, bro. You understand what I'm saying? I knew what it was and I knew what I had to do and I put the work in, bro.
Okay.
I don't make excuses for nothing, bro.
There we go.
I don't make excuses for nothing.
Now, part two of that question is, the part two of that question is there anything right now that you can't do because of the white man? Or what is it? If it's something
There's no man who stopped me from doing anything I want to do, boss.
Okay.
There's nobody who stopped. Bro, listen to what I'm saying. The job I'm doing, I went to school for electrical engineering, but I work in a foundry, bro. I pour steel. There is no person on this planet. You can check my name. If anybody you know who pours steel, check my name. I'm saying this. Bro, there's no oppression. I'm the best at what I do, bro. There's no oppression. You can't beat greatness. You're gonna tell me that Lamar Jackson is facing oppression in NFL, bro? If you're good at your shit, you're good at this shit. There's nobody who can beat that shit, bro. Just do your due diligence, put the work in, bro, and you good.
Okay.
Now,
Hey,
if you're oppressed, bro, handle it and move on.
Hey,
Deal with the shit on a professional level. There's too many
Got another call coming in, y'all. Hold on.
we got
for people to say they're oppressed, bro. Put the work in.
Jeff,
if you want someone to make excuses for
let me
yourself,
get the
bro,
last. Let me get the
credit
third.
ain't right. All that, bro. You got to deal with that too.
Let me get the third part of the question because I got another caller on the line too. The third is how much of what's going on in America when it comes to us as black people is our fault and not the white man's fault?
Bro, you know what? I'm gonna answer this question this way, Kev. Is that the white man ain't our biggest oppressor? And I'm gonna say this. I want you to listen to this. I want you to go to any store in your community and tell me there's a white motherfucker running that store. I want you to go anywhere you go and you tell me there's a white motherfucker doing it. What happened is because we didn't put the hustle in, we didn't put the work in, man, we have the Middle Easterners, we have all people coming in, taking over our communities, treating us like shit, but we keep playing the white dick. Okay. Bro, it's because when you stand for nothing, you fall for everything, bro. Respect your community. When your homie got that food truck, man, pay $4 for the hot dog versus going to that dude who's playing too. So I stand on that, bro. There is no oppression from white people. White people aren't their oppressors, bro. It's the whole world. It's about money, bro.
Okay, now
it's about getting your business right, do what you do.
Let me get Ewok because Ewok just chimed in. Ewok, what's popping with you?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, fellas?
What it do?
I just wanted to say, man, people need to realize, some people are not getting it. Oppression comes from a multitude of different angles. It's just not financial. It's just not about what you can do financially and shit like that. It's so many different angles that it all comes from that is fucking overwhelming. So I just wanted to say something and say it quick, man. I got a sister, man. She lives in Florida. She has 2 doctorates. They got to call her doctor. And when she moved down there, she bought her first house. They stayed there for a minute, her and her husband. And when they got ready to sell it, they tried to lowball her like $100,000, man, when she tried to sell it. Now, this is the person that came to do the appraisal. She had that. I mean, y'all seen shit like this on TV. I'm pretty sure y'all seen this. She had to have a white lady come in there and act like she was the one selling it, and get like $125,000 more than the first appraiser did. I mean, she a double doctor and had to go through that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's so many different angles that they come from. It's just not what you do and how you feel and you emotionally and spiritually intact with yourself. You know what I'm saying? They still come at you. You can't just kick that shit under the bridge and shit. And like you said in the beginning, it is a group of people. It's just not your individual feelings. You know what I'm saying? We are all oppressed. We need to understand that. And on that note, I'm out.
Okay. Now, shout out to you, Ewok. I don't disagree with what you said. It's a bunch of opinions floating around. Let me catch my chat room. Hold on, Kamar. Let me catch because I'm really behind. That was Jeff saying schools don't teach us finances. Okay. Mariah, she said I'm making excuses. What am I making excuses for? Cuzzo? Lace me up. Tell me what I'm making excuses for. Shay said, I'm in the field of criminal justice and criminology, so it's most definitely white people are keeping me from the job I should have. I should be the next Johnny Cochran right now. Due to them, I'm not. Is it really on? Okay. I'm not here to question what you say. If I ask you what they're doing to hold you back, when you tell me what it is, I'm gonna let you live on that island. Mariah says my son takes a financial class at his high school. Okay. I mean, my son gets this. They have that in their curriculum as well, where he's taking financial literacy classes. Jeff Crape, he says, ask the immigrants how they win. Okay. Let me see. He's talking about Miss Robinson back in the hood. She did in an era where the Arabs, but even there on Green Bay, that was black owned too. That store Lindsay's, that was black owned too. So there was black businesses all over that area. I grew up in it. Real, you know about Lindsay's and Miss Richardson. You know about them stores. You muted, bro. You muted.
Oh, yep. I know about them.
Yep, and she was mean as hell too. I stopped going in there.
Miss Richardson?
Man, she got mean as hell when she got old. What you want? Like, damn, calm down. Shit. He said we're being deliberately sabotaged. So even when you pull yourself by the bootstraps, you still got to deal with the oppression and sabotage, no matter how successful you are or think you are. Okay. The Boule is gatekeepers of the black community. That now we going towards the Divine Nine organizations again. Please don't believe I'm not passing judgments on anybody who's pledged or who's in a fraternity or sorority, because if that affiliation helped you get from point A to point B, more power to you. What I'm saying is the model as it exists. I just want to know if people feel like it's divisive.
Yeah.
Because
if you want to feel like somebody holding you down, more power to you.
I'm talking about the Divine Nine. I'm talking about.
I ain't talking about you, Kel. I'm just
kind of grabbing all of the resources and holding them. If you want to feel, sharing them only with their frat brothers and sisters. That's what I was talking about.
Right.
Is that divisive to say now I'm? Because I seen a brother was mad. What's the fat dude name? He's like a social big shit. He's like a social media dude. He has his hair dyed. He's kind of fat. I forget what his name is. He's really fat.
I can't think of his name.
Bro, you know who I'm talking about? He's one of the Bruce Drewski. That's his name. He did a video where he was kind of mocking the some of the frats. And I seen, just because I'm in the Podverse, I seen a brother who's a Q coming on. And he was talking to dude like it was a gang. Like, cuz don't do that. You know, hardcore dog. And I'm like, whoa, this is like 2-4 and 2-7 to me. I'm just saying. Let me catch the chat room because it's still bubbling. Let me get down. A said, question is, how do we fix it? How do we fix it? We're gonna get to that too. I just gotta try to find an answer. He said, ask me that question, KB, all the hard ones. That's the hardest I got.
Hey man, but like everybody keep forgetting that we all saying the same thing. Like, ain't nobody saying nothing about history, nothing about we wasn't ever oppressed, nothing about is ain't no gatekeepers. You know what I mean? I even said in the beginning, it depends about how do you look at oppression. You know what I mean? And to me, it sounds like we just saying two different things, really. We looking at it two different ways. I'm looking at financial oppression and everybody else looking at physical oppression.
Okay. Kamar, right there. Let's stop right there. First of all, the number is 262-202-5131. And it's more important now because the chat room is popping, and I just had like 3 people on the line at the same time. It's 3 people in the studio, so it became kind of cluttered. So one of the easiest ways to get off is to really call in. But I do want to say this. I like what Ewok referenced when he said it can be overwhelming, because here is some different kinds of racism that we encounter every day, whether we notice it or not. But they exist and they are actually documented. Number one,
is now here's the thing though. Look up, let's give the definition of oppression and give the definition of racism.
Well, we did oppression.
A lot of this shit that we saying is racism.
We did oppression. That's why I'm going to do racism now.
Right.
So internalized racism is the racism that is within a person's mind and shapes the way they think, and the way that they view others. In many cases, this refers to an automatic subconscious preference for white people over people of the global majority and indigenous people. This can even be true for white people, as they will internalize these false beliefs about race and favor white people in their minds. Okay. I mean, I say white people for indigenous Americans. So that's internalized. So that's what we talked about. And I think Dion kind of said, I want to go start a business out there, but they ain't going to let me. That's internalized racism. Interpersonal racism is the racism that one person can inflict on another in a personal interaction based on their prejudices. Remember the old white man?
Like they just referenced me getting like a cop putting his knee on my back.
Right. And remember
that's
the
racism.
White man.
That's not oppression.
Well, I'm going over racism right now. I'm defining racism because we already did oppression. Give me a second, Shabaka.
Yes, sir.
And like we remember the old white man grabbed the mentally ill brother here and choked him out for the bikes.
Right.
That's interpersonal racism. That's one-on-one. Or I'm sorry, that's individual.
Right.
And so that's the racism that a person feels in the way it influences you and how you treat others. The big one is institutional racism. That's racism that seeps into society, including rules, laws, and guiding principles that inherently favor white people over people of the global majority and indigenous people. When we say people of the global majority, you have to understand that on top of black people in this country, we have an infusion of Caribbean people, Dominican people, Jamaican people. There's a large Native African population in this country. So black is bigger than just us foundational blacks, because we have a lot of tethered Negroes here too. So you got to make sure you include them. And then there's structural racism, and that is the way all of these different components create an environment where outcomes will automatically favor white people because of the unfair disadvantages laid up on the people of the global majority, which is us. Shabaka, what's on your mind? I got you on the line.
Yes, sir. Greetings there, outlaws and what have you. Yeah, you know, you got institutional racism, structured racism, about 4 different levels. Is because I was up here arguing with these stupid ass white folks, man, about Muhammad Ali, because, you know, his birthday was recent. But to really show how deep this racism is, Mr. Barnes, and greeting Witch Doctor, and greetings, outlaws, you know, and what have you. You got to look at a film called The Imitation of Life. And if that film does not make you cry, it will make you mad. You know what I'm saying? It's because this is where, let me see, they did the version in 1958 with a white woman named Lana Turner.
Yeah.
And then the maid was the sister by the name of Juanita Moore. And then they had, and she had the daughter, named Sarah Jane.
Very sad.
Yeah, very, very sad movie. And so therefore, that's part of the institutionalized of it. And then when you look at all this bullshit that comes up out of Hollywood, one grown black men wearing dresses and all this old type of shit and talking about this all-inclusive shit, you know, it's fucking ridiculous, man. Inclusion is an illusion. Look at your current vice president. You see what I'm saying? Very, very tainted past. You know, we did some comments on her a while back. But what it is, though, man, is we got to get our cohesiveness going on. Now, let's look at something. These cave beasts, you know, who came from Europe, and keep in mind that they didn't know how to wash their asses until, you know, they came across, you know, the Ethiopians and what have you, right? But they had a cohesiveness amongst themselves. Now, due to neocolonialism, you see what I mean? As you got the division within the African nations, is because, hey, man, let's be real. If this motherfucker was 1820, you take a nigga from Jamaica, you take another one from Nigeria, man, you take another one from Ghana, they'll throw all their asses up there. We got 3 niggas up here for sale, period. You go into a racist-ass city like Los Angeles, California, where I grew up at, if they stop a Caribbean brother
let's say from Jamaica, a brother from the south side of Chicago or South Central, so that's 1, 2. Then you get one from Brazil, 1, 2, 3. Then you get one, let's say, man, from the Ivory Coast. The first goddamn thing that them motherfucking police is gonna say on their little squawk box, we got 4 niggas right here. You see what I'm saying? And they don't give a fuck where the fuck we from. And so what it is, we got to get our cohesiveness back, not only here in the U.S., but also, too, throughout the whole fucking diaspora, you see. But as Jess Paris has pointed out, is that many of the black ones here in the United States of America are the ones with the Pan-Africanism, to whereas the ones that have been colonized, they've been colonized in their fucking mind. Now, that there was a video that I put up recently, and Brother Paris, if you listen, man, I put it up on your wall about Miriam Makeba talking about the colonizers. You see, we didn't exist until the colonizer says, poof, you exist, which is ridiculous. And she said this here like about 1964, 65. Dr. King realized his mistake. He did lead our people into a burning house of integration. You got these fucking ass scratchers and yassa bosses out here and what have you, like Tim Scott. And 2 more things I want to make, then I know you're busy, Mr. Barnes. Okay, I saw this sorry-ass nigga, Uncle Tim Scott, with his bald-headed, slimy-looking ass, skinning and grinning up there to Donald Trump yesterday. Oh, I just love you, boss. You know what I'm saying? Very, very sickening. Confused-ass individual. Now, you got to understand that this healing process, Dr. Barnes, is going to take a while, according to Dr. Marimba Ani. And if you ever read her book, The Maafa, and then, of course, of the Urugu, see, it was all done in chaos. You see what I'm saying, as it happened. And as you know, she was a student of Dr. John Henry Clark, and plus that she submerged herself into the rural African cultures as opposed to the industrialized cities. So therefore, man, we are all on the same path, man. We got to put together a think tank, man, and have it cohesively for us. And then, to quote the witch doctor, and yourself and myself and Brother Che, we got to quit killing each other. You see what I'm saying? Now, the way how these motherfucking migrants is getting over, man, is that they have cohesiveness amongst themselves. I'm getting information, man, is that they knock on people's doors in Chicago, Denver, Colorado, and what have you. Hey, do you have some money? You have some food? Motherfucker, you knock on my door, I'm going to treat it as a goddamn home invasion. You see, so, because we are all we got.
Shabaka, that kind of sounds like reverse racism, though. That sounds a little reverse racist, though,
sir.
Is that good black racism?
Sir, there's no such thing as a black racist in the United States of America. No, sir. My 60 plus years of being on this planet, man, has informed me of that. But the thing is, though, man, that I don't dig is the hatred that we have for ourselves. See, we need to function on that because we're all we got, man. You see what I'm saying? Because when these motherfuckers come after us, man, they ain't gonna ask you what neighborhood you from. They ain't gonna ask you what set you from. They're going to see, hey, that's a nigga, kill it. You see what I'm saying? Right. And I'm just being real. Got to laugh to keep them crying. Okay, man, so I'm going to get back off in the chat room, Kev, and give everybody there at Outlaw Radio my regards. Definitely check us back out on Blog Talk and on StreamYard. We're involved in the platform, and definitely check out Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase. We was on last night, Pull the Back Tape. We had a dynamic episode, you know what I'm saying, as we always do, and whatnot. And we love our haters. We really do. The reason why we love our haters, Dr. Barnes, is because we know we're doing something right. And they hate confirms that. Black power, keep your head on the swivel. And like the referee says, protect yourself at all times.
There we go.
I'm out.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
Okay.
Listen here, because I like Kamar. Kamar's asking me something psychically. Y'all can't hear it. I can. Right? He don't just look like Professor X because he bald headed. He's asking me something, and Kamar, I bet you when I tell you what you want is a direct comparison side by side of oppression and racism.
Right, because everything I'm hearing, what everybody's saying about what white people doing to us is acts of racism.
Right. Ernest said racism is part of oppression.
You keep asking everybody, what are you trying to do? What are white people doing that's stopping you from doing anything? Like, what do you want to do that white people are stopping you from? And can't nobody answer that.
I feel like because nobody's probably ever asked them that question.
Everybody keeps talking about what white people has done.
Right.
Boom.
This is true.
Or what they think white people won't let them do.
But I think, Kamar, is because people probably have never really been asked that question or have never asked themselves that before.
Well, let's take a deep look. You know what I mean? Before you come on and start talking about what oppression is, and you talking about what acts of racism is.
So once again, let's look at the definition of oppression. Okay. A malicious or unjust treatment of or exercise of power over a group of individuals, often in the form of governmental authority or cultural opprobrium. It is related to regimentation, class, society, and punishment. Oppression may be overt or covert, depending on how it is practiced. Oppression refers to discrimination when the injustice does not target and may not directly affect everyone in society, but instead targets or disproportionately impacts specific groups of people. That is the definition of oppression. Okay.
I got one. Oppression. Okay. Not letting us vote.
Right now?
White people, I'm saying white people, if they said black people can't vote no more, that's oppression.
But we can vote right now.
I know. I'm just saying an example of oppression would be black people can't vote no more.
That would be
black people can't do this. Black people can't do that. Show me where it say that shit. And then you got me. That would be oppression.
So the counter to that, Kamar, is I got some more information. Jesse said, I read that same article that you're reading. So you know it's real live research. You know it's real. That's what I'm saying. Not try to tell you what to think, just tell you to think. Dion said, I've read that exact same document. That was Jesse who said, I read that same one you reading. He said, RWS is prejudice plus institutional power. According to Dr. Francis Cress Welding and Nellie Fuller Jr., he said they see, this ain't part of this, a different quote. He said they see us all as one big nigga. However, those in the diaspora don't see us as FBA, DOAs, and freedmen like that. Dion said it was a restaurant that sold gourmet grilled cheese. They found out it was owned by African Americans. It closed shortly after. Jeff says, read the underlawyery. Read the Year of the Rat. Then let's have a talk. Read the Oppressor's Book of the Turner Diaries. Let me see. He said, who are them GDs, BOS, VL, the Illuminati? Street gangs? I'm trying to catch up, y'all. Said, doctor, I don't know what to say. How you somebody, because they said, I don't know what you're saying. How do somebody stop a hood dude? I didn't understand that question, Jeff. I'm scheming. So Kamar, here's where this bridge between what you just talked about and everything else is. Something we've referenced many times on the show. Systemic racism. Okay? Systemic racism. Now, I'm going to describe systemic racism. I hope this is a little glue that can bring this whole thing together, right? Systemic racism. Well, first of all forms of racism are harmful. But we got to examine institutional and structural more. Okay, so systemic racism unfairly elevates white people over everyone else. It influences how people of color are treated by the justice system, but it can also affect housing, education, healthcare, hiring processes, and many other things in people of color's lives. Systemic racism is not always obvious, although it certainly can be. The Jim Crow laws were one of the most obvious examples. Systemic racism can be unconscious, and it helps create inequality. Said it must be called out and addressed. There are several examples that it affects us. Now, when I always talk about the systemic nature of it is what we've ingested. Like you can't quite see it. You come in our community, you can't quite see it. It's something there. You can feel it in the air. And it's not a sign, like you said, Kamar, that's hanging up that say no niggers allowed. Or kill your neighbor. Like those aren't signs. But this happens because we've ingested it. It's become part of us. So Dion said post-stress, post-slavery, PTSD.
Post-traumatic slavery.
Right. He said that. I would think more of it now is more systemic because I don't think 200 years later we still dealing with the hell. Our DNA is so watered down because every other race done been in the slave house that we couldn't possibly be even connected to that DNA no more. So I don't think we're still suffering from slave stress, post-stress slavery.
I think the stress. I think the part that we are suffering from is the part where people feel like, okay, well, I can't go get a business over here in this community. I can't open a business in this community. You can open business wherever you want to. They just may not fuck with you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But you can do that.
You can
do what I mean? And again, we keep talking about acts of racism. I mean, oppression. Black people, y'all can't vote no more. What is it that you want to do that white people saying you can't do?
But I think, Kamar, oppression and racism are connected, because I think one is the result of the other.
Because you're talking about one group of people, but they're not the same thing.
In their execution, they're not the same, but they have forms that are similar. So systemic racism is akin to economic oppression.
And I think the PTSD, like I said, the PTSD that he speak of this is us saying that we can't do this. They ain't gonna let us do this. They ain't gonna let us do that. That's the PTSD right there. That's the oppression.
Right. I feel like I can't do it.
You are oppressed.
Yeah, I feel like I can't do it. Mentally, I'm oppressed.
Then you're oppressed.
And that's systemic. A says the untouchables are a big part of the systematic process. Yeah, they perpetuate it. And a lot of them do it inadvertently. You know what? The other night, we had this discussion about, and it was Dion saying, you know, white people, they don't care about us because they don't know us. And I was saying, you know, they do know us. And, you know, our neighborhood troll, Scott Epicet, comes into the chat room 2 days after the show and says, well, black people are basically only 12% of the country. And most white people don't really even give a fuck about black people because they just got big. They got their own shit to worry about. So y'all only 12% of the country. So ain't nobody tripping off y'all, was his, you know. And I just kind of laugh because I'm like, well, that's what I expect a white dude to say, though. Like what you couldn't have said anything that would have surprised me. I didn't even have to get that comment light, but I just thought it was funny. Ernest said, I think Kamar doesn't like the word oppressed because it sounds like depressed. He likes positive words.
No, it don't sound like, it ain't depressed. It ain't got nothing to do with depressed. Like I said it in the beginning, it's a whole mental thing for me. I feel like if you feel like you can't do something, you're oppressed. And if you feel like these people won't let you do it, you are oppressed.
You are mentally.
I don't feel like that. I ain't wrong for that.
You're systemically oppressed. Yeah. Right.
Your perception is. I just don't feel like that. I feel personally, I feel like I could do any goddamn thing I want to do.
There we go. Right there. Shabaka says, I think we need to focus on ourselves and fuck these other groups and sellouts.
That's it.
Ace says, we are the only ones to thrust ourselves into everyone else's issues. We need to help ourselves first. Yeah, I don't think we advocate for ourselves as strongly as we actually should. Like, once again, I'm going back to this crazy tax hike in Milwaukee. I just don't think the black community made enough noise about it, even though it was going to affect us more than anybody.
Right.
Now, of course, when the suburban districts who got our same area code found out that they had to pay, they made noise about the shit. Hold on. We're going to get a lawyer for this shit. Black people took this shit on the chin and kept it pushing. You know what I mean? Like, we got politicians dancing in our face right now. They're dancing in our face, telling us, hey, come vote for me. But not one of them has pitched a sound economic development plan. Not one of them has pitched an effective public safety plan. These are two of the biggest issues in our community, and I don't see enough people of color saying we demand that you come up with a black economic development plan, with a public safety plan. Somebody's gonna skate by and stay in office, and it'll be more the same, status quo. You know, and when I say that's not the white man's fault, it's not the white man's fault that only 12% of our community in these aldermanic districts don't vote. 8 to 12%. They vote. The rest of us don't vote. That's not the white man's fault because, like Kamar said, I don't know if y'all know it or not, but now voting is legal. They even let felons vote now. So, and you can vote by mail, damn near. Absentee ballots, which we saw turn a gubernatorial election, and they hurry up and try to come and make some rules. Yeah, that's them trying to keep us oppressed, but it ain't gonna work because you say, you know what?
All I needed to know is they got some black millionaires out there. That's all I needed to know.
Some out there, but I guess the question
That's
is,
all I
what
needed
they
to
have
know.
to do to get it.
So white people ain't saying black people can't be millionaires.
They saying
White
no.
people ain't saying black people can't work on themselves and make themselves better people. You see where I'm going with this?
I hear everybody's point. Yes, sir. I absolutely do. Jesse says, I agree with Kev. They are synonymous. Racist white supremacy and systematic oppression. That's why I said I thought that would bring a connection because of what's been done and people holding on to that, it becomes a mental conundrum where you're saying, I now don't believe I can even do shit because I'm black.
Right.
Remember we talked about self-perception, right? Yeah. If you're looking at yourself and you don't value what you see, how can you expect society to value you? Right? You're defeated by the time you walk in the door. And once again, I'm still one who believes, I believe that I'm included when it comes to, are black people oppressed? Yes, we are, because I'm part of the group and I'm subject to the treatment. The white man has no way of knowing. He doesn't have any way of knowing when he see me driving down the street, hey, that one's different.
Hey.
So he's going to treat me accordingly. But now, what I can do to make him realize who he fucking with is be smart about our interaction unless this bastard shoot me. But if I get a lawyer, if I contest him legally and I know my rights, he going to have to back up eventually and say, wait a minute, this ain't one of them motherfuckers I thought. At that point, he could kill me. He could do something egregious to me and violate me because I'm part of this group and nobody's going to give a fuck that he done it to me. You feel me?
Right.
So,
hey, now, like, again, I do agree. You know what I mean? Black people are oppressed. I'm just not one of them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I agree with everybody. I'm just arguing my point.
You don't feel like you one of us. You
not
one of us. You one of us, but you don't feel like
I'm not
in
one
that
of you,
sense.
I'm not one of you oppressed people.
In that sense, yeah. I mean, well, come on. So, right. So we harp on the dysfunction in the community all the time. I'm not part of that dysfunction right now. I can't say
black people that don't feel like they're oppressed.
So I can't say because I'm no longer part of the dysfunction, I ain't part of the people no more. I don't do that shit no more. So I ain't, in that regard, I'm not a black man who is a belligerent. I mean, I'm sorry, an absentee father. I don't fit under that narrative, but I still get treated as such.
Right.
I still get treated as such because I'm black.
Now I used to think like I was oppressed. Like, man, these motherfuckers ain't gonna never let me do that. I even said it on here before I opened my store. Remember, I told y'all the story. I said, man, all I ever had was a dope house, nigga. They ain't gonna let me have no motherfucking store until I went and tried it, and they gave me the motherfucker.
Ta-da!
You see what I'm saying? So I got many reasons to feel like I'm not oppressed. It's a mindset to me. You know what I mean? Now, have my people been oppressed? Yeah. You know what I mean? Do a lot of black people still feel like we oppressed?
Yeah, they do.
You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, it's all.
And I get it and I understand why.
At the end of the day, it's all semantics because we're talking about very thin lines. We're talking about words that can, because we all in the same boat, regardless of what we think or how we feel. But very small words or very tiny expressions can make us say, "Oh shit, hold on now," when it should be like, "Hey man, it's all good. I'm for us. Whatever's best for us, that's what I'm for." And if people need to be pulled along to get to your level of thinking, like you sharing your story with a young brother who's trying to start a business, and he might be entering in the realm of, I can't do it. They won't let me do it. Perhaps if he has a conversation with yourself, he'll leave there more enlightened and say, no, I really can though. Bro, just put me up on some game, how to do my shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the power of this new black media that we have. This new, and I don't know, once again, I don't know how long the podcast thing for the bubble burst, because I see everybody and their mama got a podcast now, which is a different show. But I'm happy that we are open to, right now, we are open to going to ourselves to find out about us instead of going to them to find out about us. If I want to know something about what's going on in my community now, I can find channels that keep me informed on that. That's very powerful. That's the passage of information. That's the distribution of knowledge. And that's going to help us advance past where we were before, because the reality of slavery and the way they kept us down in this country is they kept the information illegal. You didn't have no idea on how to work the American policy because it was illegal for your ass to read. How the fuck am I supposed to come up and I can't read? Of course I don't know your system.
Right.
We no longer have that.
Now that right there, that's oppression.
That is true oppression.
No, nigga, you can't read. We ain't letting you learn how to read.
Because you're black, and that's racism.
Because you black.
And that's racism. So they like this. They came together like butt cheeks.
Well, because you put there black, you know what I mean? We go there, but then like I said, we was talking about acts of racism, which ain't oppression. Like a cop putting his knee in my back ain't oppression. This motherfucker is an asshole.
That is oppression, though.
No, he's a fucking asshole.
He is, but that is oppression too, because he did that to you because you were part of this group. He did it to a black person on purpose.
That's an act of racism. Both of them are against a certain group.
I just think one is the result of the other.
Yeah.
Shabaka says, sounds like the black politicians in Milwaukee got bought out, just like the black politicians sold out in Los Angeles. You know what? It's some rumors about some Fed investigations for corruption on the horizon. Our common council was rolling so hard for a long time, everybody quit. And they got a pay raise. They said, fuck this, I'm out. Some is amiss, as they say. A said they don't vote because they feel like the shit is rigged now. Anyway, at this point, we need to figure out how not to rely on the government. Well, hold on, because that belief that is rigged and your vote don't mean nothing. Now we going right back to that mental thing Kamar talked about. Now, I'm not going to even try to vote because it don't mean shit anyways. So I'm not going to try, right? So you end up basically staying where you are because there's no real change because your voice hasn't been heard. You're depriving yourself. Shout out to Fletch. I see you. And you know, we can say figure out how to live without government. I don't think you need to be dependent on government, but even here in Milwaukee, the fact of the matter is you can say, well, I don't care about MPS because my kid don't go there, but you still pay taxes to MPS. Your money is still being spent as a taxpayer at MPS. Therefore, you should give a fuck because it's money out your paycheck. A said, Kamar, I bet you feel oppressed when you pulled over and ticketed for no reason.
No, I feel like this motherfucker is being a racist asshole. If I get pulled over and ticketed for no reason, but I've never been pulled over and ticketed for no reason. I always did what the fuck I got the ticket for.
That's that. Hey, that's that. It ain't the white man's fault. I should have had my plates right.
Straight up. I shouldn't have been fucking speeding. I'm gonna be real with myself. You know what I mean? And that's another thing.
There's racial profiling, though, Kamar. I don't want to border get to walking on Sheriff David Clark.
Yeah.
And sometimes they will target you.
Now that there's racial profiling.
But the
all
thing
these
is,
words is, hey Kev, listen, these are all different words for a reason.
If
not the same thing.
If they pull you over and your tags and your plates is good and you riding clean, then you was prepared for it, so it can't affect you.
Right.
But if, like you said, if your plates was bad or you was riding dirty,
right,
then you did what the fuck they said you did, and that's why I pulled you over.
Right. Now I know it happened. I know some people get pulled over for racial profiling. You know what I'm saying? It happens. But that just ain't happened to me. And then that would be just that, racial profiling. That wouldn't be oppression.
I just feel like because you're a member of an oppressed group, you're subject to getting
racial
harassed
profiling
by law enforcement.
Then I'm subject to racial profiling.
Right, but that's connected to oppression.
They're not telling me I can't do something.
Except for drive without license.
They're not telling me I can't do something.
Right. Then people would say, well, why you don't got a license?
You see what I'm saying?
White man don't want you to get no.
If the motherfucker pulled me over for no reason, he's not telling me I can't do nothing. He pulling me over for racial profiling.
The white man won't let you get a permit, man. He don't want you driving.
We could do this. Hey, we can do this shit all night, but you know what I mean? That's just how we instinctively deflect.
He said, this is why I started my own business. I feel you, Kamar. That was Fletch. I got another caller. Hold on, caller. Give me a second.
I'm finna get it tonight, boy.
Yeah. Listen, it feels good not to be the bad guy all the time. He said, what is the point of voting?
We can do this all night. Everybody keeps talking about racial profiling or racial acts of racism. And come on, man. We could do this all night. Tell me what I can't do.
He's in the chat room. He says, what's the point of voting if you're not getting anything tangibles out of it? We just talking about insanity earlier in the show. But we talking about voter turnout now. I'm talking about Milwaukee, Parrish, and I'm talking about Milwaukee because I'm gonna tell you why I'm referring to Milwaukee in that regard. Because we, in our local politics, aldermanic districts, which are made up of, and I'm pretty sure you understand this, made up of our community, we have the voting power. We have the numbers here to put into office individuals that look out for our best interests. We have that. We have the numbers to do so. And we refuse to do so because a lot of us won't vote. So it ain't about, it ain't about whether it's rigged or not. It's about you not even putting in. Because if we all go vote and I got 75,000 votes and he got 15 and you say he won, now it's hell to take to the captain. Now it's time to roll. But the fact is we don't vote. We go, years go by and it happens over and over and we don't vote. So that's why I referenced that. I'm not a super fan of politics, like just go vote, everything will be okay on a national level, but locally you damn sure need to be involved in politics. Who I got? I said Arizona. Who is this?
It's Ace.
Oh, what's that? Ace?
Bull went off on this little tangent.
That wasn't no tangent, cuz you know me.
Understood what I was saying.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, it's okay. Number one, it's going back to what I was saying before. And in that sense, I really love the way he thinks. I'm not oppressed. I'm not held down because he done tried to. So you're right. If you ain't never tried it, you don't know it. But at the time, in this situation, it is. How do we get together and fix this shit? How do we get together? Because we can't not pay tax. If I could not decide I don't want to pay all this bullshit out of my paycheck, I would do that. The one thing he said, who was the gentleman that was called in earlier? Whatever his name was.
Probably Jeff.
When he was talking about he was talking about the appraisal. That happens. That's how they affect.
Oh, that was
generational wealth.
Okay.
Yeah, it's generational wealth. I know that specific situation because that particular lady was blackballed, and that company got heavily fined, and kicked out this and that. But they do shit like that. Half the time, we don't even know what they're doing. That what they're doing to us is against the law. One part of it is knowing our rights and knowing the shit that we can and can't do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But also, man, I really think it is so many issues because number one, we have been oppressed, whether y'all want to think it have or not. Because dude, we do sit down and try to figure out your life and figure out how to live as a normal. Because you see these white folks getting out there, they could be. As far as I mean like, damn, these motherfuckers just look happy in the motherfucker. How can I feel like that? Shit. I got the money. I got to worry about all other kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. But yeah, it's kind of figuring out what's going on economically in the country, figuring out how to make out dollars. And we have to practice group economics because right now we're in a situation where they taking your tax dollars and they give them to migrants. And we saying we don't give a fuck about you. They're trying to create a new nigga, basically, because we don't the game. Basically, we don't figure out the game. And what they said, oh, these motherfuckers don't want to work. Okay, we need some new motherfuckers. We need some new sheep. We need some new niggas out here. So we're gonna give their money to them, and we're gonna call them lazy, and they gonna come over here. They gonna do all that shit, and then they gonna start fighting. You understand what I'm saying? We ain't got to deal with it. We just gonna go build some bunkers over in no man's land and chill out, and we gonna wait till the dust clears. Does that make sense?
Well, no. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get affordable housing out in the suburbs and in the rural communities, and then they'll move us out there, and they'll occupy the urban areas, and they'll prosper and thrive once again, and then we'll be out there dealing with the immigrants that's out there out of control, the new reservations.
Well, we have to find a way to hold people accountable. You're absolutely right.
One way is the ballot over the bullet, though, and we keep telling ourselves why we shouldn't vote. I'm telling black people why they should vote, and unless you don't give a fuck, because a lot of black people tell you they don't give a fuck. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm saying there's black people who tell me all the time, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I'm not voting. That shit ain't gonna do shit to me. And I say, well, eat your food then. Sit down and eat your food. Like it's, but don't complain about the meal, like because you don't drop no suggestion in the box. So, like Kamar said, it's all a lot of different words and a lot of different concepts and stuff like that.
Because that's what they hide. Because they hide behind
it. It is because that's why they have the different words.
We 50, kid. I'm
Well,
looking at this,
not yet.
and
I'm
I got
close.
children.
You got different words and
You
different
damn near
different
50, Kev.
definitions.
Give me time. Let me take
You
my
great,
time.
Andre.
Let me take my time. Don't I hate when dudes try to rush me to 50. Kev, you did it. Hold on. Not yet, man. Just give me a couple years, man. Shit. I'll bring you with us.
Hey, they got
You
different
great, I'm
words.
great. I think Bull great, but he ain't got no hair. I can't see.
Hey,
At the end of the day, man.
He's calling. He's
it's for
trying to
your
ask you a
children,
question,
man.
Ace. He's trying to ask you a question.
Go ahead. I can't hear him. Go ahead.
Hey.
I got the TV turned down.
They got different definitions and different words for this shit for a reason. You know what I mean? It's not the same thing.
It don't have to be the same thing to be connected, but I agree with you.
It's not the, you know what I mean? We talking about oppression. We ain't talking about what's connected.
So you talking about words and actions.
This started out with oppression, and do we feel oppressed? And then everybody started throwing out all the different scenarios, the racial acts of racism and shit, you know what I mean? And that wasn't even a definition of oppression. So we start talking about racism and shit.
I talked about them both.
Well, I know you did, Kevin. I'm talking about, you know what I mean? The call-ins and in the chat room and stuff. You know what I mean? Like we talking about two different things.
Ace, I want to give you a chance to respond because I need you to turn that device down because that echo is murdering my eardrums.
Hold on. Let me turn. It's the TV, man. I'm trying to hear what he's saying.
Yeah, you gotta. If you're gonna call in to work, you gotta have it. Got to be through your phone. Like if you try to have it on the TV and then you on the phone, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, I didn't really hear what he said, but I'm trying to. I know, but what I think you're talking about one. I mean, obviously, one is it's a situation. One is an action. One is just words. You know, but once again, it's all a part of white supremacy. What we need to do is figure out, like, hey, we don't need these numbers. And I think he said it the one time when he's talking about we need to practice group economics. Stop fucking with all these other people. You know, we got these motherfuckers coming in our neighborhood, setting up Chinese shops and then Chinese hair shops and shit. And our women go directly to them. Go to Chinese restaurants, and half the time that shit don't be real meat. You eating dog and cat, man. You know, but everybody comes to us first to build the background for their community. Why the fuck can we do it ourselves?
$1 million question.
That's my frustration. That is my frustration.
Let me catch this chat room, y'all. Ewok says, so banning books ain't finna work. Now, because we can still tell the truth through podcasts. Well, you know what is a lot of, when I say information, I think that's what the FOI did very well early on that increased their solidarity, is that they distributed their newspapers and whatnot. And people thought, well, that's just a scam. But what they was doing was keeping each other abreast on what was going on. Right. So you knew what was popping at every mosque, at every city. You knew, because you can't come on V100 and say Minister Farrakhan is going to be at the Bradley Center. You know, you got to find that paper where he's going to be at what mosque and what day and what time. And that's how you get access to his information.
See,
so
and that right there is what I'm talking about. Like, it's stuff like that is why we don't need to have a Black Wall Street per se. You know what I'm saying? A town.
I get you there.
Because of stuff like that. We got papers. We could distribute our own papers. We got our own news. We got the podcasts and shit. We got all type of shit to do. You know what I mean? We don't need that.
Right.
I feel like.
Go ahead, Ace. Close me out.
Can you hear me, Kev?
I can hear you. Close me out. I can hear you.
Oh, so, at the end of the day, man, we have to beat the systematic. We have to beat the systematic altogether. I mean, as far as resources, knowledge, and dude, I'm gonna be 100. You know, I stay on them untouchable motherfuckers because they got their hand in everything dirty that fucks with us. You know what I'm saying? If it's from entertainment, because they determine what comes out, and a lot of the shit that comes out to our community, especially in the music, is fucked up. The entertainment over television, what we see, you get what I'm saying? It programs our children, number one. So they don't have a chance to have a really healthy upbringing. And because they're idolizing bullshit.
Right, got you.
You know what I'm saying? But also, we not holding these people accountable because we're afraid of these people. Why is that? You know, I'm just like, dude, the only thing they could do is kill me. Look, it is what it is. If you can't die for your people and your family, what the hell is the purpose of living? And it's not that I'm crazy, but damn, we get tired of being caught in the cycle. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Got you. Let me see. And I do believe it's important that we do. I think we need to be a united front when we stand up, though, so they can't isolate the one leader. A lot of people shared Martin Luther King's sentiment, but he was the one out front, so that's why he got shot in Memphis. Right? They couldn't have shot all 50 of us if we was all on the balcony, you know, or 200 of us. They would have shot a couple of us, but we would have been enough of us to go in the direction of where the shot came from, and we would have gotten that ass because we would have found you trying to run out that goddamn room. Shabaka says when a nigga learns to read, he starts realizing his position, and then he starts rebelling and building for himself. This is what I keep saying about, like, we cripple ourselves because of our lack of knowledge. And a lot of us right now, and what they call it, there's a term for it. It's called willful ignorance. Willful ignorance. I'm ignorant on purpose. I'm choosing not to know no more than I know. I don't care if it seems a little complicated. Man, there's too many pages in that goddamn book. I ain't reading that motherfucker. That's where that phrase comes from. If you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. Because he ain't gonna never read that motherfucker to the middle. You're gonna start saying this shit too long. He said we are the only people in this country who had whole laws passed against us in terms of reading and writing. That's why it was such a big deal that they did it that way. Jesse Parrish says, Kamar, you're confusing overt versus covert oppression. Racist white supremacy.
Well, I mean, we never talked about what kind of oppression. We asked do we feel oppressed? And I said no. And now here we are.
Well, we talked about economic oppression. We talked about social oppression, different levels.
The type of oppression, what I'm talking about, like I said, I'm going to say it one more time for him. I said, what we was talking about, what are white people saying we can't do? Like, no, nigga, you can't vote. No, nigga, you can't vote. You can't drink from that water fountain. You can't go in that bathroom. You know what I mean? You can't use that. All this shit. You black people, you can't do no more.
Right. I get at this point, the concepts have been laid out perfectly. Right. I think people
I was talking to him. I know you get it, but I
hope everybody do. I hope our clarity is on 100. I hope everybody.
I was just trying to explain to him again where I was coming from.
As far as covert versus overt.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. I agree. So, yeah. I agree with y'all. You know what I'm saying? But
what I hear from you is not a denial or trying to divert it. What I hear from you is I'm conditioned mentally. The way I deal with this is by not dealing with it on that level where it affects me. Right. I recognize it, I see it, but it ain't got shit to do with how I'm moving. It's not gonna take the battery out of my back.
I've been challenging this shit. I've been challenging shit that I've been thinking I couldn't do, and it's been working. I've been beating it. I've been passing different shit. That's all I'm saying. So I don't feel oppressed.
Okay.
Remember, we started out, you asking me, Rail, you know what I mean? Well, how do we feel?
I asked you.
And I think with all the comments, it just took off to something else. You know what I'm saying?
That's the beauty of it, though. It's a conversation, right? I felt like people would want to talk about this shit. I feel bad if I came on here and brought on some shit and there was no comments in the chat room and y'all was looking at me like, nigga, for real?
Because like I also said, I agree with y'all. I just feel like, you know what I mean? A lot of our people feel like they're oppressed. So it's a lot of shit they can't do, so they are oppressed. I'm just not one of those people. That's all.
She said we need to vote.
I love you niggas, man. I love y'all. I love all the chat room, everybody, man. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? I am one of y'all, but I'm not oppressed.
She said we need to vote. My grandparents and parents fought for us to be able to vote. Why let them fight? Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X did. Go down the drain. Go vote. I just think if you gonna complain, like, because you can either go against this system and say I'm not a part of it. And if you can survive that way, then that's cool. But if you really care, because the truth is a lot of us need the government, our local government at least. We need for them to do the right thing.
Right.
Because everybody can't bubble. Everybody can't, some of us need nigga pie. Like I said before, like everybody can't just be like, I'm living off the land, make my own bread and all that. Some of us need clean neighborhoods because
and that's what we're going through. We got
everybody can't, because everybody can't be an oracle. So and I look. That's what I'm saying. I look out for people, no matter how good I got it. I'm always gonna look out for people who are less fortunate or not they in between blessings. Jesse said buffer class. That is what they're creating with this migrant invasion crisis. Yes, it is. My brother Everett Gransberry, how you doing tonight? He said, I wonder if we figured out the game. For it's us. It's about combining our collective wealth, no matter how big your bank is, and use it to grow as a collective instead of trying to do things by ourselves. That's one of the more strong statements that we've heard tonight, because it reinforces.
That's that Dr. Claude Anderson angle. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my thing. Money talks, bullshit walks. Yeah. Like, if you got enough money, motherfuckers ain't gonna give a fuck what color you are.
Right.
They'll put you through the ringer in terms of a black person. They'll put you through some tests, but I think there's a situation, because we look at somebody like Byron Allen, who is a billionaire, and he still gets tested. Like when he was trying to buy certain cable television networks, and they was freezing him out the game. Now here's a brother who's a billionaire, got his ducks in a row, but he did not stop. He has since acquired more networks, and I bet you, because he lost that lawsuit, so he didn't get a judgment for that, but he didn't stop, and at this point he's still acquiring stations, so his wealth is still growing.
I think a lot of people forget that, like, whatever level you on, man, you done overcame a whole bunch of shit. You know what I mean? If you out here making moves, you out here doing what you got to do, man, you overcoming a whole bunch of shit already. You just still thinking like it's setbacks. You know what I mean? That's supposed to happen.
Ernest said,
it don't have to be like that, man.
He said, Kamar, racism was in the definition of oppression. Okay.
So it also was in the definition of racism.
Both of them. They both been.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. But the question is, call in and tell me, and you answer the question what we asked. Not real. My man's who just called in a little while ago.
Dion,
yeah. Ask him the same question. You know what I mean? What do you want to do that white people say?
I didn't ask Ernest them questions. God damn it, Ernest, my fault, man. I didn't ask Ernest the questions. I'm sorry.
You know what I mean? Like, well, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, literally, what is it that you can't do, that you feel like white people saying you can't do? Or that you want to do that white people saying you can't do?
Said now we just arguing semantics.
Better yet, show me a rule where white people saying black people can't do this.
He says now we just arguing semantics of words none of us created. However, we experience daily. We whether we want to accept it or not. I said it was a battle with semantics. I thought I said that. Let me see. He was talking about the final calls as the way the nation was able to keep communicating. So you're referencing Jim Crow. We are under the new Jim Crow. Read Michelle Alexander's book. I heard when I worked for MATC, I heard Milwaukee Area Technical College. I heard her speak when that book first came out. She was dope. She was dope. And when she was talking about the new Jim Crow, you should have seen the looks on some of the white people's faces in the room, especially those who were like, I'm liberal and I like black people. It was some real color changing in that room because she was hitting with hard facts, and she had it up on the big screen in the Cooley Auditorium at MATC. And I was just sitting there like, oh, this is all facts. And she was explaining the intricacies of them and how everything was intertwined. Yeah, that's a dope book. Go check that book out. Let me see. Said Hollywood is not going to let black media prosper. We must say fuck Hollywood and come together on a collective basis, and they will fold. Once again, I think that's true, Shabaka. That's why I respect and love that's why you hear me say Tubi. I watch Tubi. I don't know who owns Tubi, first of all. It could be the whitest of white people, right? By and large, probably a Jewish person, But what I see on there, because I just watched the movie Stolies, okay? And it's based in Milwaukee. Once again, when we start looking at these movies and we start looking at black people being able to put the lenses out on ourselves and kind of write our own stories and making films. They're getting better and better. I watched The Lawnmower Man last week. That is a dope ass black movie directed by what's my man name from Detroit? Murder. What's his name? Murder. I think that's his name. Murder. That's his name. I don't know why he kept his name, but
the dude from Plug
Murder
Good.
Pain. Yeah, Murder Pain. Oh, The Lawnmower Man, dope. They did Street Guys, dope. Like those Detroit, when they started, they was kind of thin. They've evolved in the way they're produced now. So I want to get the brother who did Stolies. I tried to get Too Much Sugar for a Dime. Couldn't really connect on it. So I'm trying to get the brother who did Stolies on. It's a dope movie. I said all that to say is I support us doing for us, right? I support us saying, okay, I'm going to watch a little Sports Center, but I'm going to go online. I'm going to go on YouTube and get those brothers those views. I'm not going to give it up to them. That's what I'm saying about this new media we have. We have to keep it going. We got to support it. We can't be like, oh, I'd rather watch Fox 6 than listen at them. You know, you have a chance on here to actually call in or put comments and say, well, what about this? Or what about that? You can't do that with Fox 6 and them, as they say. He said, black millionaires and billionaires still get tested. So what is that? Okay. Said I answered the questions already.
Hey,
you did, Jess.
Hey, we all get tested. We getting tested right now at this level. Like everybody get tested. What are you saying?
You did answer the questions via chat room. You did, Jesse. Said I have that book and I read it back I got it back in college. I'm telling you, I met her in person, man.
We all get tested.
She was a dope sister, man. I can't say enough about her. Just because in real life she was on point. You couldn't poke her with a needle. The most racist motherfucker couldn't have came in there and argued. She laid that shit out flat and was like, boom. I was like, whoa. I was just there chaperoning some kids. I didn't go there expecting, because it was an event. So they said, Mr. Barnes, you want to take a couple kids down there? I said, yeah. They sold tickets. I ended up moving from the back to the middle of the thing. Like, oh, shit, this sister is cracking. Her name is Michelle. I want to say it wrong. I don't want to say it wrong. Let me go back. Michelle Alexander. Her name is, and it's called The New Jim Crow. It's dope. It's dope, Ace. Listen, let's get this before we get out of here. Adrian Griffin, the head coach of the Bucks, who's black, gets fired. Got a winning record. Apparently, there's something going on underneath we don't know about. The reason I brought that up is because the first thing black people said was racism. This is some racist bullshit.
God damn.
Right? It is. And I said, well, if you have a job and you don't live up to expectations, right? You get fired. That has always been my quandary with politicians, because I don't know, Kamar used to say this all the time, but I don't. I said, if Milwaukee, the city of Milwaukee was a Fortune 500 company, the CEO, the CFO, all of the board of directors would have been fired a long time ago. They get to stay in place in politics. But when you're talking about working in something like an NBA team, if the owner says, I don't like how you did this, your ass is gone. Now, he was replaced by another black man.
Yep.
Okay? And people say, well, that Doc Rivers, he Marquette nigga, and he got a white woman. And well, stop it, because y'all love Drew Holiday, and he had an ice queen too. So stop it. Most of them
always
NBA
gotta
dudes,
be something, man. No matter what you say, it's gonna be something. God damn.
Right, there we go. I just want to know, do y'all think this was racism why he was fired?
Nope.
Okay.
Hey, I was reading something. I don't know how true it was. How they show a clip of it looked like somebody tweet or whatever it is. But it looked like Giannis posted something that was saying that he was accusing his brother of insurance fraud.
I thought that was a joke.
I don't know.
I thought that was a joke.
That's what I said. I don't know how true it is, but this is what it looked like. I don't know.
What I did hear was that Giannis has gotten to the point where, because in their last game, they were struggling to beat Detroit, and Giannis was drawing up plays on a tablet. He was drawing up his own plays, and then they're saying that he had gotten to the point where he would change the play calls when they came in, and he was telling dude be trying to sub him out. He'd be like, nah. So he was going against his rotation. So apparently he had lost the locker room. They didn't believe in him as a leader. So I didn't think it was racist, especially when you hire another black man. to do it. I just didn't. But I spent a lot of time talking to Brother Rick Muhammad, who explained to me a million ways how Rick hates the Bucks, by the way. But he explained to me about a million ways it was racist, and we just argued, man. It was just a real ugly, just nobody's listening to nobody, because I'm like, that's not racism. That's not. They didn't do what they asked him to do. I mean, he was in second place, but he also had the easiest schedule in the league, and now they got Murderers Row coming up, so they was like, nah, you ain't gonna even be able to handle this. You struggling with Detroit. They on track to be the worst team in NBA history. Tiarsha says, get our black Tyler Perry of Milwaukee, C.L. Woodson. His plays are super good and talk about real life. I don't know him. Hook me up with him, Tiarsha. Send me, what's his name? Wait, hold on. Black Tyler Perry. What do you mean, Black Tyler Perry? Because I don't support that, certain foolishness we don't do on here. We don't support no solitary banging on no singular outlaw, right? Everett Gransberry said a test is nothing more than an opportunity to put your true talents on display. You ain't who you are until you under pressure. I don't want to get to know you and you ain't never been through shit. I don't trust no brother who ain't been through shit. I always tell people this. If I meet you and you say, man, everything been good for me, man. I've had this privileged path and everything has been fine. I'm going to be like, all right, then. Because I've been through some shit. And it's probably going to be some more. What you going to do when I'm in crisis? I don't know, Kevin. I don't know. I don't need you then. A says we went from number 1 defense in the NBA to number 22 in the league. Once again, you didn't meet your expectations. John Fletcher, he said he wasn't ready. And I think they recognize that. You ain't ready, brother. I hate to see a black man lose his job, and you could talk about the way the team is made up and all of that, but he didn't live up to expectations. That's why he got fired. So we need to own our own NBA teams. It would be a great start.
Hey, that's just sports.
Right. Yeah.
It's something with some kind of way you ain't fitting. You know what I mean? You got to go.
He'll be all right. He got more money than me.
Yeah.
The new Jim Crow in the age of color blindness. This is supposed to be remember they were saying post-racial America when Obama was in office? This is post-racial America. That was some bullshit. We seen that. Tiarsha said, I heard it's something about what was happening in the locker room. A few players wanted him gone. Yeah, you don't get moved around like that unless the big dogs come in and say, man, this dude ain't got it. Got to shake him. You got to leave him where we found him. I want to close, because before we close too, I want to say another thing is I wanted to extend that conversation about the Greek organizations. Didn't really get to elaborate on that as much as possible. We're gonna extend that for the next show, because I want to make sure I'm not putting a bad rap on them. I'm just saying certain concepts that we once relied on that were useful are no longer that. And I do look at it as a form of black gatekeeping when somebody who's qualified as a person of color doesn't get an opportunity because of someone's friendship, and they're not as qualified as you, but they get it because of their friendship. I know people going to say it ain't what you know, it's who you know, but that is bullshit. And if we're doing it to ourselves, it's worse. Right. So I want to talk. I know the homie Zeladon's wife is a part of one because she had responded on the Facebook post, and she has more intricate knowledge of the Divine Nines. I know they do a lot of community service, but I want to look at what this represents, and I want to ask the question to black people: is this divisive? Is it time for us to, leave it alone? I know people say this 100 years of this, and my granddaddy was one, and yeah, you can do a lot of bad shit for a long time, and that don't make it right. So Shabaka says Obama was more concerned about a homosexual getting getting served, was more concerned about a homosexual getting served than racist white cops murdering black people. Well, no law enforcement reform, so got to stand on that statement. You're right, Jesse. The big three, Ice Cube the NBA had handled him rough. But I don't think it was necessarily because he was black. I think it was because he was a challenge to them. You see what I'm saying? It's business. And on top of that, they're going to say, and he's a nigger. I think they added that, and he's a nigger in the meeting. Like they'll say, it's going to take this much, going to lose revenue. And somebody said, and he's a nigger. I think that added to it. I don't think that was the basis of it. Same thing with the XFL and the USFL, which have now combined. because the NFL will fuck you over if you're trying to compete against that bag they get. NFL is $100 billion organization.
And don't they got to work with them somehow too? Work with the NFL somehow?
Well, they don't. But what happens is you're going to get players who are either going to be good enough to get recruited by the NFL, or players they're going to lose on some player if they get big enough. Imagine if all of the first round draft picks start saying, I ain't going to the NFL because of what they did to Colin Kaepernick. I'm going to go to the UFL. If all the top black athletes in the draft did that, that would shut the NFL the fuck down. So they're going to make sure they going to squeeze their necks. They're going to make sure they keep their foot on their back. Don't y'all do too much. So it's big business, but it's racism at the same time. Sometimes it's all encompassing. That's why as a black man, you just got to be ready to fight until it's over. Because you don't know what's behind that door. You better go in that motherfucker ready to get it on. You feel me?
That's right.
Man, great Hump Day edition. I knew this would be a great conversation, so I appreciate everybody who's tuned in. Please share the show. Please hit the Cash App if you like what we're doing. Help us continue to build out our platform to make it better. Kamar, I know you got House of Vitality. Let's get them hours and the days and whatever else you got coming up this weekend, because this is Wednesday, so we won't speak again until Monday.
All right. So it was Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 7. Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 7. You at the House of Vitality. Come on down there, get some of that hot elderberry sea moss tea. I'm telling you, this shit gonna keep you from getting sick.
That sounds like a hell of a concept. I need to give me some of that. I need to partake in that.
Better come on in.
Yeah, no doubt. Real, can I get my wine this weekend, or once again, am I in the bushes again waiting on you to come out?
No, it ain't gonna be done till Valentine's.
Oh yeah, you did say that. That's my least favorite holiday. You did say that.
The
what you got
bottle
popping, man?
I be putting bottles aside for y'all because Kamar ain't get his bottle either. So what happens is I put them to the side and then y'all don't come, and then my lady get a hold of them, or they end up in the barter system. Like your bottle, I had to give to somebody for helping me dig one of my cars out the.
Hey man,
You know it was ready. I didn't come get it. You didn't tell me it was ready.
I be telling y'all like, hey, I got these bottles over here.
Hurry up or they go, right?
Right.
Don't tell me twice. I'm gonna be a DJ.
They a hot commodity, I see, but it encourages me. You know what I'm saying? So it let me know that. And the crazy thing is, man, people more inclined to buy wine than one of my books. So I'm like, okay, but that's the thing. I see that, people need to meet their immediate need of comfort. You know what I'm saying? And enjoyment. They'll read later. So
maybe you should give them a package. Get everybody who buy a bottle of wine, get a book.
Yeah, and that's what I'm gonna have to do, or a cigar, something like that.
Yeah, I'm waiting on. I got the books. The cigar and the wine. I
got the cigar for you. Like I got the cigar whenever you want it, but the wine that take about a month to brew.
If you'd have just told me you had the cigar, I would have came by and got that today.
Oh shit! Well, yeah, that's whenever you want. I could put one together for you tomorrow and have it for you when you get off work.
I'm gonna hit you when I'm off the plantation. I'm gonna hit you like, hey, real, I was about to come through there.
Yeah, for sure. Those on deck.
I be feeling real niggerish when I get off work, so I might call you, be like, "Hey, how you doing?" It ain't no white folk over there, is it?
It be like that, man. I be feeling the same way when I get off work, man. I
spend 8 hours a day
hearing other people's problems, fixing other people's problems.
I love it though. Listen, what I do for a living, because I help people, I love it. And when I get to put the life coach part of it into it, I be so impressed with myself. I'm just gonna be honest. Because I can help people who are not, where they should be, and to see them light up sometimes and say, Mr. Barnes, I never thought of that. Or I didn't know that was here. And just be like, man, thank you. I'd be like, this is why I do this shit. And the paper, of course.
Yeah.
I am compensated for what I do. So they say if you love what you do, you ain't really at work. I'm just kicking it all day, right?
I'm looking forward to $25,000 hour consultations. That's what I want. I love what I do when I get paid $25,000 for an hour consultation.
And put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. I'm telling you. I told you when you put your curriculum together, you got a certified professional life coach right here on staff. So I can bring that element. You're right,
check out Myron Golden. I don't know if you fuck with Myron Golden.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it's a black dude. He used biblical principles to like teach entrepreneurship and success. But he's a coach that he do master classes. And I think his lowest ticket is $25,000. And it'd be a master class full of like 100 motherfuckers. So it's possible. And that's one thing we gotta do. We have to look at motherfuckers that's doing what we're trying to do just to know that it's possible. Like I watched this podcast.
You gotta see it.
Yeah,
you gotta see something. A lot of time you gotta see somebody doing it so you know it can be done.
Exactly.
So you can visualize it for yourself.
And just to see that it be done and it ain't rare. Like on Social Proof Podcast, that's all he do is interview like black millionaires, like motherfuckers that got had $1 million day off of creating an e-course, or $1 million day making t-shirts, like the support black colleges. He got that dude on there. And he tell you how, but we just gotta, shit is always gonna be impossible until somebody makes it possible. So we just gotta, put our attention more on people that show us that the shit we trying to achieve is possible. So that $25,000 an hour consultation, it ain't far-fetched because I see other motherfuckers doing it.
Well, when I got my certification, I stumbled upon the certification. Right?
Yeah.
It happened, but the universe put it on me, as Kamar would say. But the guy who I had to go through certification with was talking to us about billing, and he was talking about, I heard what you said about 25,000, but he started talking about $75 an hour, right? And I was kind of, I guess the look on my face said it all. I was looking kind of, and he said, well, Kevin, you got to understand like this, that's low. There's people who are doing this right now that have quit their jobs to do this. And he said, but also you got to understand that if you don't put a value on it, how do you expect anybody else to value?
That's right.
Exactly.
You set your own price. Do you feel like what you're going to do is effective for them? Are you thorough in your approach? Are you going to be able to take examples of you helping people? If you know that to be true, then don't undercompensate yourself for the work you're about to engage in. I said, right?
Right. Hey, one of the confirmations for me when I quit my job, right? One of the confirmations for me was somebody had called me and asked me right after I quit my job. They asked me if I wanted to do a motivational speech at a phlebotomy graduation ceremony, right?
Damn.
Hey, look, they gave me $150 to talk for 20 minutes. So right there was confirmation like, oh yeah, I'm out of here.
Right.
Fuck that job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I didn't keep doing that at that rate. You know what I'm saying? But I did get more events where I wound up getting paid for doing it. You know,
sky's the limit. Like that. Sky's the limit. TR shit, you right. He wasn't fired because he was black. She said, didn't they fire Joe Barry? He's white. Yeah, he got his ass canned this morning in Green Bay as well.
Hey, kid, remember I said a long time when Stotts quit, when he resigned before the season started, I said, hey, man, that might be a sign that this motherfucker quit. Like the assistant coach. What assistant coach resigns before the season?
And why would he get that much press and coverage?
Yeah, I feel like it was something in probably.
Everett Gransberry is telling you to sell him as a set, Rail. Yeah, I mean, why not? Like,
right, and that's the next move right there. And shout out to Everett. I told you that was one of my favorite supervisors, man. He'd drop a jewel to you, and then shit. I remember he gave me a piece of black onyx to help, ward off that negative energy. So
wow, okay,
yeah, man, he the truth.
Deeper than rap,
for sure.
Jesse said that part, Kev. Great show tonight, Outlaws. Good discussion. As long as we can do this amongst ourselves, it's beautiful. Tiasha just took a real deep shot at me. She said, Kev waiting on that wine like I am waiting on that hoodie. Tiasha, inbox me your address and I will drop your hoodie off tomorrow when I get off work. I will make it a point to do so. Give me your address. Because I got it sitting right here in the studio. Right? Shame on me. My bad. This is Black People Customer Service. But yeah, inbox me your address. I'll drop it off tomorrow. Everett said, do it. Because I always plan to, and then the weekend comes and I forget. So, and I'm about to try and do something else with the apparel. So it's important for me to get you off my books. So let me get this hoodie to you. Everett says, do a wine and cigar pairing and promote the book. There you go.
I'm gonna have to.
And you got the basement to do it. Have an exclusive event where you can invite people who you got a pole in your basement.
Right? Yeah, I don't need nobody breaking their hip on this motherfucker.
Well, you get you some exotic dancers, not exotic in the terms of stripping, but they can be doing movement. It's all kinds of ways to toy with
visual art,
Yeah, right there. You got a whole galleria set up.
Yeah, I know a couple burlesque people I could have. I love, burlesque so cold, man. It ain't as raunchy as like twerking and shaking. It's still an art to it, The little ostrich feather dance and shit like that from Bill Cosby.
brother Everett said my going rate is $300 an hour.
Oh yeah, he a life coach.
Man, I need to get with you, brother.
He actually one of the first ones I met before.
I need to get with him, man.
Yeah, man, he dope.
I need to get with him. Because my wife has told me several times. She's asked me, "What are you gonna do with that?" And I'm like, I don't know, because the way it came to me, it just fell out my lap. Literally, it of course through what I do for a living. But when they said, "Okay, well, you're gonna have to become a certified professional life coach," I said, "That's cool. What is that?" And so she's asked me several times, "Kevin, you need to do something with that. What are you gonna do with it? Your woman gonna challenge you. What you gonna do with that? What you gonna do with it?" You keep saying, "I don't know." She keep asking you, "What you gonna do with it?" So I need to get with him. I said, "Let Paris know he and I need to discuss the lake show and buckets." Okay. Listen, man, we're gonna get out of here. It's 10 o'clock. I want to break even, Stevens. I appreciate this conversation, man, and it can be extended. Just like Kamar said, we could do this shit all night. Like, cause I still have so many more talking points. I still have so many more that I could discuss, but I love what Rail said that time in the group. Somebody said, y'all need to do more shows. And Rail said, one of the tricks of the trade in show business is to always leave them wanting more. So with that, I'm going to close on that. I'm going to close on that tonight instead of my normal closing. We want you to want more shows, but we also want you to want more, man. Peace and love. I'll see y'all Monday, man.
Peace.
Me too.